Baptism of Apathy. Written by J. L. Hickey. Read by the author. Critical Introduction by J. L. Hickey. Baptism of Apathy is a collection of poems written over the course of 8 years. Poetry in itself, according to some, when compared to the current condition of other modern forms of art, is a dead art form. My goal with this book is to change that mindset because they are wrong. The reason poetry is so important is because of how accessible it is. Anyone who has use of language can be a poet. However, no matter how eloquent a speaker someone is, their work will never encapsulate spiritual realities. All we can do is try to run around in circles with words. Walt Whitman said, "What is that you express in your eyes? It seems to me more than all the print I have read in my life." The struggle to find a way to express these spiritual realities is something that makes life beautiful. We know we will never touch the soul of another person, but the fact that we can try, that life exists, that we get up and breathe every day should fill us with vigor. In a poem from the perspective of Natalie Gabler, she says, "When I give myself, though I'm from another universe that this realm could never touch, never hope to grasp, conceptualize why we cannot speak. Enthralled with the sunlight, but the sunlight will soon be gone, forever, forever never ends." The Whitman quote, "When I give myself," is quite overt, and I make no attempt to mask it. Natalie knows that when she is gone, she will be able to do nothing at all to change what happens in the world. The world goes on without her. How beautiful it is to think, Christian, that life goes on without us. It doesn't matter if one of us dies and the other suffers. A pressing theme of my poetry collection is characters seeing and knowing aspects about the world that no one else knows. This can come through experiencing a kind of suffering the rest of the world turns a blind eye to or does not even know exists, while the rest of the world is blind to spiritual realities. Christian and Natalie have their eyes open wide, striving to escape the world in a desperate attempt to touch each other's souls in a way that would be unthinkable for those who never could slow down, never could sink peacefully. Whitman's poetry is filled with moments where he identifies the beauty of the fleeting moment, almost in a carpe diem mindset. In that the moon spins round the earth, and on with the earth, is equally wonderful. And that they balance themselves with the sun and stars is equally wonderful. Come, I should like to hear you tell me what there is in yourself that is not just as wonderful. And I should like to hear the name of anything between Sunday morning and Saturday night that is not just as wonderful. If you have not noticed already, I take a lot of inspiration from Whitman. However, in some ways my poetry makes me the anti-Whitman, taking themes from Leaves with Grass and flipping them on their head. A clear example of this is my statement in Division 4, which flips Whitman's statement, "Creeds in Schools at Abeyance," directly on its head. False creeds, false faiths, false celebration for what is passing so quickly. While Walt Whitman arguably wanted to create his own religion with his grandiose, semi-delusional ideas and mindset, Christian and Natalie are a traditional Catholic couple striving to find their place in a world that is about to end, a world that is falling apart at the seams. Natalie and Christian do not live in the modern world, but rather a twisted mirror universe where the problems we face in the real world have been magnified. This is my attempt at social commentary, creating a caricature which mocks our reality, and also shows that we are in some ways not far from it. It also demonstrates that in the twisted reality, we are better off in important ways. This is seen most clearly in the relationship between Christian and Natalie. While most relationships in the real world fail, because Christian absolutely loves Natalie, his love for her never falters once. Such a situation in the real world seems almost impossible, as long as the characters are put in specific discriminated categories. They will be able to view the world differently, and see things other characters are incapable of seeing. Many of my poems follow the story of Natalie and Christian, who lived during the time right before the very end of the world. For the purpose of crafting an argument in my poems, I include much religious imagery and language. With this ethos comes several extreme implications. The Catholic Church has always seen itself as being right, and all other religions and ideologies as being wrong, which puts the characters at odds with the entire world. In my poems, many would describe the Catholic God as a wrathful, vengeful God. With this extreme form of justice brings forth a vast array of emotions from my characters. Sometimes they want to see the world be destroyed, and other times I have remorse for what will be lost. Two of the most important elements of human existence are both romantic love and platonic charity. The two are not mutually exclusive, and they often exist together and overlap. In my opinion, all injustice, except for circumstantial injustice, which is beyond everyone's control, is a direct result of a lack of charity. I define charity as not an emotion, although it may be accompanied by emotion. Rather, I define charity as a firm decision which results from the realization that other people also have souls capable of feeling much like one's own, and the conviction that one should give of oneself to help others. I wrote about romantic love in many poems I've written in the past, because of how prominent such states of mind can be in people's lives. This makes my poems more relatable, and also gives me a vehicle to express whatever I want to express, whether it is rage against injustice or lament for a lost world that no one will exist in or live in again. There's not much time left in the world, Sarah. Terminator 2, 1991 deleted scene. No one wants to hear a sweet and loving poem anymore. Anonymous.
Division 1. The simple, rational voices tell us to slow down, fall asleep, never wake up. If we for one moment live in a false world, we are nothing. All our lights mislead us, all shepherds, wolves, heretics on the TV, but since the day I first met you, I've been fast asleep. I see us together. I see us in my dreams. I'll weep when I wake up. Don't wake me up. We've been dreaming for too long, in forced anticipation for what happens next. We will never join the world. I will jump from the highest cliff. The day we miss the last train, we find ourselves. I've been silent for too long, but I put my heart to death. It's better not to care, to jump into the ocean of mercy, to start sinking peacefully. Can't contain myself. Everything is good. We have innocent hands, enticed by the pretty things, which in truth are no longer warm, no longer sweet, and no longer life-giving. And we never stop for one moment. No one would ever return my calls. We will never be high on the drugs, numb to the crushing pain. If I could feel it, I would cease to exist, and I cannot believe. My love for you crosses oceans wide, and the tremors of fear at night have caused this love to boil over. I will never forget what we had together, or the war that has no end. I read the news today. Skyscrapers fall, and bombs pave the way. I could see the spirit in your eyes, of a time long gone, and passions dead. All the time we pretended we were happy, but I never was, when you were never with me. It's like every door is closed before we could get through. As long as I have this microphone, I'll be shouting songs about you. When no one stops to hear, when they violently suppress what you have to say. Like those burning skyscrapers, I will make sure they take the blame for the war that has no end. As darkness envelopes my heart, all I can do is sing to the crowd, drive the nail into the concrete during the night, and then fall into the unknown. I told you I love you. Someone dying in our immediate proximity. While I remember walking alone by the clear water and wishing I could leave, and seeing this couple leaning on the railing of a bridge, watching the sunset on an earth that is running out of light. Fast forward and I'm standing behind the iron-locked door, hoping to God you picked up the phone. A thief in the night takes our souls away from the universe I know. There are no messiahs left. I look at the world around me in need of sudden violent change. No one can save me. Spent a whole summer playing Elder Scrolls games, locking myself away in a realm no one can touch. A world brimmed with glory, because in the real world, there is nothing I can do to change you for an hour or a single day. Spent the rest of that year saying nothing is wrong. I tried speaking out, but you didn't stop to hear. In all my time alone, I spent listening to bands that spoke to me. I spent all day sitting in those hallways, daydreaming about a world filled with magic in need of saving, but everyone was too blind to notice. Aching in pain, I see that the rest of the world is walking in circles. I turn the other direction and slowly walk away. Before you lost that perfect charity, by itself enough to stop any storm, to heal my broken heart, I was dreaming lucidly about you singing all the bands you don't listen to anymore, at the chili cook-off, and I want to lose myself in the world we used to live in. And my one and only mortal sin is I'm in love with a girl I never knew. And I know you're not actually who you are superficially. You have no inner sanctity. Externally you lift your hands in prayer, but you're dying and know nothing for sure. Made the narrow way broad, bowing before a table in place of an altar, worshipping scraps of bread in place of God. No great part of you is uncorrupted by lust. You cannot remember how your voice is still the most important voice. I'm in love with the girl who answered me when I spoke her name, and we will see the gravity of the lies we are conditioned to believe on Judgment Day. But as it is, there are more devils in this room than men who have walked the earth. The ground we stand on vanishing before our eyes. My only fear losing you. You know I will never leave without you. Anguish drenches me like a rainstorm. This deserves the same rage as if all our cities had burned, and we sat in apathy, while several billion died. The ones we had entrusted with our hearts and souls are leading you into hell. We should drop out, off of the face of the earth, from the disease that entwines itself to my skin, from the lies that stick to us like broken promises from the ones who cannot lie. If we stay here, we will never gain our souls of the bliss of ignorance, but faith alone will save me, your faith alone in me, if you and I disappear and we lose ourselves in a novel world far from here. I still feel lost. I listen to the roar of the passing cars. We are dying in our isolation. The things that I know are invisible to most, but why did we choose to live this way? You're dying to see the light amidst the chaos. My first love leads me through this dream. Like the stories I have read, shows I watched, where even in a world filled with vampires, there is always someone there. Always someone waiting to lead me through the dark. All I wanted was to show you how we're bleeding. I wanted to show you the world thirsting for its recreation. I still feel you, irresistible rush in my brain. We are dying when we're separated. Your kiss will take me far away from here. My heart is always with you, like the wind that gently soothes your skin. The spirits of the wind will lead me home again. We are the only ones to make it here. Sing your heart out till it stings inside. I don't need anyone to tell me how deeply I've been sinking lately. Do you want it? Can you see it? Can you breathe in the air tonight? We are one in one heart beating, and we're bleeding all together tonight. We didn't come here not to start a riot. We are walking blinded by the starlight. We become the guilty ones, and we didn't do a thing wrong. It's okay to speak because no one is listening. Scream out your words to the sky and maybe God will hear, and then you can go home and stare at the walls because we don't communicate. I have no one to celebrate making it through this Monday with, because you never told me why. In the business classroom, I am weeping while I'm daydreaming. Wish I could get to you. You hurt me. You left me. You destroyed every picture of us. Took them down from social media. I'm overly distracted. I'm somewhere on a flight to a foreign country, writing my life story on a notepad. Every fractured moment. I need to hear your voice. We used to talk all night. Either I've lost the words I need or the words have lost their meaning when I say them. Violently suppress the memories. Group therapy. I look up, they ask me to read what I wrote down. The words will give me peace. Either I walk away from her or she disappears without saying why. Ghosts were never good at giving me the reasons for not existing. Cloud my mind because I know that you guys never listen. I know words don't change the world. Let me tell you a story. There once was a time when people were happy, but no one could remember it. Because everyone relives the same day, the first and only day of high school, forced to run forever, Forced to never speak. The track team runs the race, but there is no finish line. The first day of high school never ends. It never ends for you. And all the things you went up to your room to cry about will never end or leave you alone. You drew the shortest stick. The note the teacher gave you. It only said, fuck you. The pain you feel punched in the stomach by those you want to connect with, and this day will never end. The doors are locked shut. You are left to rot. Fuck the ones that brought this torture. I long to show her how it feels to be in an ocean of silence, and how it feels to be without love and separated from eternity. God, I pray the fate you fixed is real, because life was sweet for just one night, but we are dying inside, and all I do is cry. The stars you saw are just dying lights, and the promise of the future an empty lie. In showing her this empty classroom and our hands that would never meet, I would make obvious that soon we in a dream will again walk these streets. Her face is in my mind as worlds light up again. Our love is recreated, and as I kiss her we begin. But the sunlight is long gone since that day when Franco Macaluso cast his shadow upon me, and I fell. And our sisters live in prostitution. I don't owe you my soul. I walk away and won't follow anything they say anymore. These storm clouds will never disappear. I always thought by now God would have reached down and saved our souls. Witches in the darkness casting spells on us, forcing us to live in delusion. A world without charity. I hear the distant sound, those guns and screams. All we wanted were normal lives, but things got too complicated. The anti-pope exercising his power to erase all the truths that we dared not question. So I bury my heart in a foreign world where we are truly breathing, and we will recognize what caused us so much torment and learn to fight back. There is no doubt in my mind she is worth it. As sure as there is a God in heaven, I can feel her skin against mine. There is no doubt in my mind Natalie Gabler will find the joy no one but Christian felt before, because everything happened for a reason. A single glimpse was just enough to keep him searching day and night for that eternal peace that is seen yet remains unseen. The band sings their elegy for the sanity of the world lost centuries ago. Christian sits unnoticed in the same arena, burning heretics at the stake. The magisterium is inseparable from witchcraft, cannot be diluted. While the world follows the anti-pope deep in his new theocracy, Christian prefers to apostatize with each breath through every day and condemn the entire world from cathedral roofs. If you're hearing voices, they will stop. And at the bar, I stood up in front of my friends saying, remember this moment on Judgment Day. Remember, we will die. Get out of the house, take a walk. Growing old takes time. All these years we've been drifting apart. Inauguration Day when we wait for the inevitable. The future is uncertain and we try to forget the past. We've been victims of the pain under our skin, which chokes our life, makes it painful to breathe and unable to speak. We wait for Judgment Day in a room without windows, with only a clock on the wall, remembering when we were younger. And we need to help those in need. We only fall in love with what appears to be beautiful, no matter how ugly it is inside. We never realize that it is better to be there for those who in need, who are drowning in an ocean. So what? So little pain, an eternal heartbreak. I can go on and not give in because I'm convinced that we are young and free, and the summer is incapacitating. I need her here with me, and I'm tired of waiting, tired of the tears, a fog of depression over my head. But let grace be enough, and let me see this redemption restore the joy we once had together. I can't say that I've wasted all the time I've been given, but I have to say it went by so fast that I'm scared to lose the future. And life was never perfect. Maybe I'm just insane. Maybe I'm just a dreamer lost in my own world. There are moments in our lives when we realize that long after we are gone, life will go on without us, and the world still spins without us. When the stars come out tonight, when you feel so alone, when you feel the breeze against your skin, we're not meant to be so alone. And you can barely whisper because you're the only one to feel this beauty. Lord knows you feel so alone, but the world keeps on spinning. Natalie is the strongest girl I've ever seen, and more than I could ever dream. Her love could save my world, if God forsakes this shell. And maybe I'm just a dreamer, but I still feel so alone. When all my skies are darkening, storm clouds on my horizon, and there's nowhere left to run, we're not meant to be this alone. And I can barely whisper because I'm the only one to know her beauty. Lord knows I feel so alone, but the world keeps on spinning. Dear Christian, the joy I have I cannot contain, even if God is the only one who will ever read this. It has been so long since you promised me that forgiveness is attainable. Remember when I told you, each day a choice is made that changes everything. I ask that you have faith in me, and we will find the truth. I will not willingly leave you again. They'd have to drag me away. The sigil can summon demons to haunt our every footstep and fill every dream of you and me. Take us to the guillotines, and even if I forget about you, I believe this. Real love always breaks your heart, but for me there's nothing that has not been broken. Because I believe in the sunlight that used to fill our lives. Before they labeled us, and before the sigil cast its shadow on the life we would have had. I pray to St. Thaddeus of Coptos that as his pain ended, yours would too, though it was at the price of everything he had. Thank you for always loving me. It adds balance to my life. And thank you for that promise that the pain will end for me. You are my only hope that tells me one day the universe will ravel away. With the affection of Jesus Christ, Natalie Gabler. Like punk rock poets, we shout from our stage. We would be free in our religion, but that's impossible. Instead of a stage, I have empty hallways. Instead of a church, I have a burning lecture hall with flames we cannot see. We become more surprised than atheists during the parousia. We realize that we were never happy, never satisfied. Time to rethink the entire way you look at existence, but of course it's too late. I have that feeling I always get whenever I sit back on a fall day and ask the questions that really matter. I'm in high school again, and I'm still obsessed with finding you. Somewhere through the haziness, everything went down so much differently in my dreams. Then we never made ends meet. We were still free to laugh. Everything went down the way it was scripted, and I'm obsessed with breaking the cycle. I've been pushed and shoved, too depressed to break the writer's block. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I know the important words will slip out, someday unexpectedly, and we will fall in love for the very first time, because all of us have missed out on that boat. You'll never know, you'll never see if I don't speak. I wait in the classroom for the judgment to end. The hatred I feel is all-consuming, your hatred of me. I listen to her read your poetry, but you'll never hear it. You'll never truly speak in honesty if you don't listen to me. She writes her own at home. She doesn't understand, never will. We should have counted the cost before we left the only place we want to return to. There's no going back. For the last time I hang my head and cry, and if there's a hell where we go when we die, I will meet you there and tell you the story of my life. It doesn't take a genius to write this poem. It shouldn't take a masterpiece to impress you. And my one regret is I never said enough. My first girlfriend I met when I was 16. She was always locked away, with pad and paper, away from the rest of the world, which had chosen self-deprecation over surrender and trust. It's always safe to fall into that ocean, because Chloe knew the system was screwed up beyond recognition. And when she spoke out in her letters and poems, no one would listen. Political and religious leaders never saw her at all. Although the world is passing, they have what they want and are fine with the status quo. I love Chloe with all my heart, but her life runs short, because I have a heart like hers. Fast forward, and I was standing in front of her bleeding, lifeless body, crying my heart out. After the crash, it took her whole strength to demonstrate we need to turn around and ignore the heretics, whatever it takes. She was blind to all the lies. Tom's reprisal, he said, "When will the world end? I need to get laid." And I said, "I don't think we'll see each other after death." Each day we never attained love. The cassette recorder was destroyed. The sky is no longer blue at the end of the marathon. Satan is now gone because my Bible has all of its pages torn. Whole books are missing from the story of my life. And he said he didn't care about Martin Luther, who died today 470 years ago. I cannot give in, I cannot forgive. In my dreams I saw the face of a girl too sacred to desire, and she told me secrets about herself I could never reveal, because if I did, I would never rest again. Although she lifts her hands in prayer, she never had any faith, even in my dreams. We think these tarot cards portray the future, tell us the right things to do, but after the race we won't forget. Lucifer sued us together, our hearts are fading. Walking through the slums and finding nothing to spark the match that will burn down the balcony of the ones who look down on us. Her kiss feels like a bitter reminder that all of our lives will end, and then we'll be in hell and feel the loneliness we all deserve to feel because we caused this, and there are no excuses left to give. Natalie Gabler, here in every shadow, here in every corner, showing Christian who the world will soon forget, that there is a hope worth dying for, but the jaws of hell are wide, and Christian watches the city burn. He sees the bombs giving way to the future we all hoped would be bright. I did not stand up, and I absolutely will not read this poem to you because I didn't care. Didn't care that you were dying just like me. I didn't care that if God even exists, it will be a miracle how this emptiness is reconciled with the peace that is supposed to exist. I don't care about you. I don't care about the poem you're reading about how you stare at that guy you went on one date with and complain about how he stares at your breasts and how he wasn't good enough for you, because life is not a video game. There are no second chances. We've got one shot to make it out with our hearts and souls. And right before that wreck, I was praying to Jesus, making empty promises. We never had anything special, so there's nothing you can take from me. I am not sorry for anything I've done. If I had the chance, I'd do it all again. We've had too much to drink. In the classroom, I never stood up again. After the one poem I read about how we are all dying in our isolation, and expectations will never be met, the time has come to change the game, because we were pawns each day moving. We were the ones with the failing grades, and we've known the answers all along to every question. I miss the sunlight on my face and the days we never spent by the pool, the friends I had for one day. On the 18th of June, more than 2 whole years ago, I just stayed home, lost the words I need, notebook pages blank and depressing air like a snowfall. Pages don't write themselves. What is then a saint? The anthem of what I've been, not what I'm going to become, something I've lost in my dreams. Sleepwalking in daylight, nothing has changed since the air of depression covered me. I would have become a hero, a saint, a breaker of the cycle were it not for this fog. Won't let me know what I should do. I burn the pages of my life story, rewrite them all again, before I lose my voice. And how would I use my voice? Worlds would be lost if I for one day refused to speak. Another day that I watched my love for this life walk away with a smile on her face. She was always innocent. She smiles as she, the source of life, walks away. She knows not what she deprives us of when she leaves. She is totally unmarked by the world she visited, because this world has fallen far. All I want, the stories I heard in the slightest breeze, all of them are true enough. This liberty is inebriating. Words are not enough. Yesterday I watched a video on YouTube of a young man playing 22 songs with the same 4 chords. I remembered how you told me about it. I found my voice. This is the punk rock symphony that will resonate in your soul. Natalie, you are the cycle breaker. The way that you touched me, like the breeze, and it gently speaks to me. And the truth that we ignore isn't always obvious, but you find salvation in unexpected places. In my sleep, I'll scream all the words to all the songs I wasn't brave enough to sing. All 22 of them in the same chord progression, because what is connecting us isn't purely physical. This is our world. It can be anything you want it to. My friends wonder why I rarely even speak. Outside I look so damaged, but my heart is still and at peace. Can you hear the gentle breeze move across your skin? I touch the stars that light your steps, and a little more love is all I need. I do it again and again for a life away from here. We are kings and queens, and we remain unseen. But we became prisoners in clear view, waiting and shivering under the bridge, until we all forget this too. We who know amazing love, the miracle song that saves, cannot keep silent, or be restrained by any chains. I am all alone in the crowded place, writing down all these words, overcome by sudden joy. I cannot keep from screaming, but all I do is whisper. All this time we have been seeing black and white, in one-dimensional space, and we have never known love. Kayla, if you knew you would die 1,000 times for a chance to know the truth, can we see through the fog that others have put into our eyes? They preach God's word spoken with the sword, and their mouths prepare their tombs. But I can taste the world like a little child, knowing everything is going to be all right. Body of Christ, broken for us. Kingdom in our midst. inebriated with each lash that sinks into my skin. I hope you know that I never want to say goodbye. I hope you know that no one knows, except for you and me. I'm a king, you're a queen, and we remain unseen. The last time I was here, these woods were up in flames. I just want to go home and I'm through playing games. It seems like I saw you years before I knew you, or you knew me, in that place I used to live when I was 7 years old. When I start to think of the way things used to be, I realize nothing here is real except when I'm in my dreams. In my dreams I saw a photograph of your face when you were young, on the wall of a broken home where no other pictures hung. These woods aren't here anymore. They have all been cut down. Most of my days after were spent indoors. I was too afraid to look around. In my dreams, these woods were all ablaze, and I drove my car into the inferno in panic-stricken craze. Only a miracle can save you from burning in that inferno. And whenever I sit down to write, I feel as if the world is deaf. You are beautiful because you recognize that we are not alone in the world. That when we die, we watch over each other's pasts. Because no one has yet realized what it means to fall in love. All the wrongs we felt during our lives will also be repaired, but we sell ourselves short when we are so much more valuable, as if the reign of a regressive religion that wants to control the world has swallowed us in its nightmare, an episode of the Twilight Zone, and I will no longer find comfort here. I hope to find myself in a foreign world. One day I will leave all memories of Ontario behind me, and I want to leave New York with you, but we are buried in dreadful fear. The system doesn't work for me because most men are of bad will and God leaves them in darkness. The gates of hell are wide and they will swallow us whole. You never read my poem in Miller's creative writing class last year. You don't know anything about Natalie. You don't know that when I kissed her, she told me that the world is passing away, but she hoped that only this moment would remain. I will keep silent while the heretics walk by and fall down the cracks in the eternal fire. I wish it didn't have to be this way, but it's what they deserve, because I've been to the gates of hell before and almost was swallowed whole, but she was there for me to guide me out. I start to think about the elaborate words and clever phrases you put together in Miller's class, but those two are passing away. All that will remain is Natalie's kiss, because that is one and the same with the love that created the universe, because without her love and grace I am nothing. So when she kissed me, I was created for the very first time, a creation from nothing. One of the haziest memories I have on this isolated island was sitting in the only movie theater within 100 miles and watching that teen couple watch The Hangover together. Their arms were around each other, my arms were crossed. I never saw the end of that film, barely saw the beginning, because I bailed and turned to God and prayed 15 decades of the rosary that one day I'd leave this island. Fast forward to a clearer memory, and I'm sitting in the same theater, watching a different film. Natalie Gabler is with me. The last time I was here was in a dream, and that teen couple I envisioned was me and her. All the simple words she told me, all the words I dreamed of hearing day and night without ceasing, that one day I would hear them from her lips, even when she complains about how she never did well in school, never won a race, was always pressed down by those who spoke in the name of God. I love Natalie with all my heart, and one day this universe will pass away, and all that will remain is the moment when I knew I'd have a friend and more for as long as I exist. The city streets will never walk together, the days that don't go by, the words that don't materialize, the time we never spent laughing, the song too loud to hear. Because if we heard it, the universe would combust, the stones would cry out, break from their apathy, and if we knew where we really are, we would both fall in love, not just with each other, but with the days that will never exist again, the abstractions we can never grasp. Simply a mistranslation that God cares and is close to my broken heart. From time to time, when the thoughts are not fleeting, I realize the isolation I was put through by those sitting in this Bishop O'Connell cafeteria. I talk to them, they both walk away. We can't look each other in the eyes and realize that countless choices define our fate, and we do have a choice. I have an unpopular opinion. We need to realize and need to believe in the sunlight that we've never seen, bright enough to pierce through the fog that encompasses the morning in Saudi Arabia when 10 apostates are being beheaded, piercing enough to show who is right and who is wrong when Eminem rapped, spewing venom in no particular direction toward people I don't know, whether they be the kids across the street, or the Saudi prince across the ocean, or the anti-pope in Nationals Park, and whether or not we have true life-giving unity, or if we're alone with the song that reminded us of the woman we loved on repeat. All of the saints are dead, lost the will to make choices, cannot lift a hand to change anything in the universe. Now it's the 4th of July, and we are dying in a false celebration. Because the future we all hoped would contain the dreams we weren't fulfilled last year is the bitterest reminder, like all the rejection of a breakup without even the good memories. I stand alone on the Washington, D.C. rooftop, watching the DJ who is only playing Pitbull records. The party will stop when we are all dead. And in the embassy office, I for one moment remember the past, arguments over religion, that we will no longer remember. And we are never convinced that what we are doing is wrong. But it's time to share with the world what you've been holding in so long. Standing on stage with your guitar, hoping someone's listening. You don't care what they think, you're lucky if anyone's listening. And one day we'll change the world even if no one's listening. All the phone lines will be gone by then. There will be no one listening. We don't seem to care when we sink through the quicksand. We reach out as we sink through, too late to cry out for help. Just another day locked in the same room, sleeping through the weekends. The summer never ends and I'm afraid of it passing. I've been dying slowly all my life. Now shout the songs they'll never hear. Oh, we need the grace to see clearly. I still have dreams about you and me, weeping in my sleep. I still miss you beside me, and I never thought the little things would mean everything. Without you, what do I have? The intercessory power that we no longer feel. God is no longer listening, no longer hears our prayers. And now we will see who is right and who is wrong. And now we will be so much more than flesh and blood. And I can only dream of you. The door is locked behind me and the phone lines are dead. I remember where we sat alone, and my mind is made from memories. The stage was set for something even newer than the world we call our own. Are we lost? Can we find our way? Are we alone again? And all my words evaporate before they get to you, and I can't even concentrate to sleep away the pain. And now my hands are tied behind my back. What this world needs right now is a love it won't deserve. All I need from you right now is a love that can't be earned. At the end of the day, there will be no one left. Simply apathetic, or simply dumbed down on too many pills, unable to care that you don't care. All I want is to let you know how much I want to leave these snow-covered streets. When I wake up, I hate everything I see. We are the perfect candidates to sing a song that defines this generation, to strike a chord in the nation. I will start a punk rock band. I will name it after you. I'll scream the songs you whispered from the rooftops. Reuben, yours is the true religion. All I want is to let you know how we've all been deceived, living our lives in perfect families. And I'm walking through the shadows, and there is total war, raging inside my heart and mind, always pressing me to strike a new chord and fight battles worth dying for. Will this tension ever stop on our hearts, pulling us, blinding us to the bright world around us? And we know this is hopeless. Winter comes and freezes the air of our lives, forcing us to suffer alone and starve to death and live in chaos. And we know this is hopeless. You are a saint to me, even if I'm delusional. You are like heroin in the veins of the screwed up world. I'm tired of waiting. I'm not done singing. All I want is to see a change. I'm dying out of rage. Will they ever stop crucifying our hearts, sacrificing us to the God that never cared about us? And we know this is hopeless. Will we ever look out and see the sunlight, remembering the times when we chose to walk away? And we know this is hopeless. I spent all my days telling you I'm in pain. And the love we don't receive at all makes me wonder why we even try. I feel like I'm wasting my breath, and I hang my head and cry. And I don't understand how we got separated. And I know my words are not enough. And I can't find life underneath this dust. So believe me when I tell you so. I can't do this without you at all. Father, can you hear me? A normal life is all I want. I can see the demons laugh and curse in front of me, as they lead their willing victims into the hell they chose. Tomorrow morning when I wake up drenched in pain, I know one day we'll see an end to this deception. If only there was something I could do, if only I never knew. I am the vine, you are the branches, remain in me. And aren't we all just dying to leave this burning building? So we leave this realm behind and follow in your footsteps, and I won't stay. And all my hope is hanging by a single lifeline. I call on you for all my answers, but you're always in the wrong place. When I'm alone, I am free. I can see a different world when I look at you. We are delusional, but we walk the other way. We know all the answers, but we won't give them away. When I was younger, I wasn't so depressed, but the world's grown so cold. and I'm disappearing from this place. Won't you follow me? I have grace, I have peace, an ocean of mercy sinking deep. I'm the last of the lovers. You'll never see me again. All my words are just white noise. Don't make sense to speak them when you change what they mean. I pace across empty hallways. Another day we live together. I hope you can see the invisible stars. The years went by like passing cars, and I was asleep at the wheel. I've been here before, and we are dying young. Tell me about the grace you felt deep inside your heart. I know that I can't leave you when the world goes dark. I wish that this was one sick joke, but it's who we are. I'm giving you the heart of me, and it will be the death of me. And I will be a saint for you, here to fight and here to lose. All I really need is you. I rarely ever needed you. I'm hearing voices in my head, and I can't think straight. This game is getting old, and my life's controlled by all the ones I never met, and I never let them in. I don't need to be told what to do and what to say. The sun don't shine no more on me and you. I'm overwhelmed by memories. I'm dying just to sing to you, but I only see you in my dreams. And the promises don't come true. They're dying like these stars. The world goes colder each day, and my moods are like the wind. If I lost myself today, I would run into your place. I would drench myself in your pain, because I remember every curve of the road we took together. And without you, I'm going home. And to see you for just one more moment is my one last wish. I remember the smile on your face, the world we'd share. I touch the stars that light your steps when I'm not there, and the memories are like a death trap in my soul. Even if I told him how I felt with the most elaborate words and clever phrases, like the ones Nathan used in Miller's class, he wouldn't listen. I'd rather write the way I want and be the person I want to be. And everything is good when it's you and me, differentiated from all other people, as we watch the stage, the war theater unfold, like no one else has, like the time you rested your head against my shoulder on the metro ride before the city bombings, before the fear ensued, before the first war began that tore nations apart. Chloe, you took my hand, and I saw you smile without words, with a chill that resonated in my spine, and you led me to the park bench, and when the sky turned red, I said goodbye. I would never see you again. The war that has no end, which I'll always rage against. In one divine dream I will see you again. But if divinity exists, then we're already in hell. We should be blasting the songs that define our lives in the ears of those who never listen. They won't care. I bet they read this poem and still not care or even understand. We are dying inside and out. I sit and stare at the same blank page, which will be filled with all the words that manifest the secrets that we deserve to know. I will meet you somewhere, in between one disillusionment and another. All my life we made our plans, but we never saw them through. We are too young to be in despair, as we listen to the same specious lie playing on every airwave like a fast-spreading disease. I'm wasting my breath yelling at air. Sooner than later. There will be no smiles because of the pictures we'll see in 7 years. Because no one can truly be happy in this land of shadows. And this will go on until the veil is lifted. As I was walking the suburban streets, I could recall the day we said to Rhyme and Reason, we don't need you. The day we said to the church triumphant, we don't need you. Because God doesn't care, doesn't even exist. Lonely death. In the real world, I never saw her again. And my friends wonder where she went. All of them in love with her, and I will die alone. Still can't believe Steve Irwin's dead, I have to admit this. Still can't believe the days go by, those years were mine. As I'm walking on the sidewalk, I hear sirens in the distance. We're both in the same inescapable hole, and it's around us like a boa constrictor. And there is no way to get out. So hard for me to breathe when everyone around me won't let me be who I really am. Resignation. Writing, resisting, overcoming. Dying to feel anything as if your hand was in mine. Sadness, the kind that comes over me and takes my breath away. Because we do not have much time. I need to hear you say that this school year is over, that we have overcome, that we are far from where we were last year. When everyone else abandons the only true faith, I will be here for you. I will never hurt you. The world has become a dreadful place. The words are taken from me, and we will lose our lives long before our time. No one ever leaves hell. High school never ends. Spellman was nothing short of hell. Praying in those hallways, I've become the incarnation of the only hopeless cause that matters. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Does prayer do any good at all? Am I dying slowly from the poison at the bottom of this bottle? 5 years later, and I have so much to tell you, no clear where to start. My wounds neck deep through my throat, and I can no longer speak. Lies. If only I could feel your pain. If only I could face the situation that I would rather die than inhale. When you lie to me, you take me to all the places I never wanted to go. You lock the door and throw away the key. We drown, we cannot inhale. I cannot stay here. She doesn't even listen, enthralled with the Antichrist, trapped inside the counterfeit church. I was wrong so many years ago, and now my hope is gone, and there's still no one here, my back against the high school locker, and I know if we did this justice, we would never hear the end of this. But as it is, all I can hear are lies, all honesty is gone. We'll see Toronto's skyline and contemplate the day when all of it will burn. Here we are, our empty hands open wide. We have nothing to offer, we wouldn't even if we wanted to, and I am in love with you. We speak simple words and simply answer yes or no. Like the roar of passing cars at night, this chill starves the breath from me. Crying, shaking, and convulsing, what was left of my soul became a necessary loss. The rain would fall, and the vicious cycle would repeat. I found myself in the empty classroom where I was not given a choice. What my future is going to be because of the system that must be praised. When I walk down the hall, forget my name as I pass by. Memory is all that keeps me fighting, resting, not succumbing to this fear that annihilates the stars. From now on, read all my words, keep them in your soul. Listen to what I have to say. We need to forget ourselves, rediscover the charity we left behind. Division 2. Wouldn't it be nice if we never lost love? When God fell fast asleep, and when the bombs went off in the New York streets, I became tired of writing the same poem, the same thought pulsing through my mind, like the memory of the day when I learned my sister had killed herself, and she never told us why, no indication that it would ever happen. Jordan, there will be no quick end to the war. When the dust settles, we will not be able to ignore the pain it caused you and I. And we will not meet again until we die. I read the news yesterday and heard about you in the midst of the crowd, blasting all the songs so loud, so that we know all of us want to forgive, all of us want the death to end. Mortalium animos, I am the seer of the visions, and we will lose our mortal souls like a bullet through the brain in a single moment, and we won't know what's stripped from us, just the universe we had known. And the consequences of this life are set. I wake up in Buffalo on June 18th, 2011. We need a reason to forgive, a reason to realize that what we would put to death has abundant meaning. We put to death our mortal souls, and the feeling of the summer in my skin fills me with resignation. We are hollow. We have no connection anymore. And I don't know how to convince you, because you've lost your mortal soul long before your time. The resurrection. All the words we'll never speak, and all the songs the rest of the world was deaf to, but only we could hear. My heart was still, yours beat in rhythm that I took to heart. We'll be without motivation or direction until the day of resurrection. Among other things, yes, I'm sick of Vincent's poetry, and you sit behind me. But in middle school, I had no control. In high school, I missed the train. Fuck that, I lost my soul. We are always moving. I walk through the Bishop O'Connell hallways, and I see you walk by, lightly bump into you without noticing. I forgot your name was Molly. The devil wanted us to be together. The devil pulled us apart. Sometimes speech is absolutely necessary, but most of all today, it is absolutely necessary to get to class on time to period 6, Tom's creative writing class. One day Tom will have his reprisal. One day his symphony will have a reprise, but we lose track of time. What is time but all the ways your smile has changed in ways I never noticed? And I cannot daydream forever. They cannot keep me here forever, cannot lock me away. Welcome to the vortex where you're trapped indefinitely, with the same broken record spinning the song that reminds you of the faces you'll never see again, and we are going under the water again, and the blood won't stay in my head. Losing memories I never had, or at least it doesn't matter because no one else can call them out. An empty bottle of sleeping pills on my bedside table. Once again the wind speaks to me when no one else will take my calls. The lengthened deadness of the dial tone makes me realize that you're ignoring me. Under the dry water again, a baptism of had enough of the bullshit. A baptism of forgetting. On the corner's a street guitarist, 17 years old, but I don't notice him and I will never care. We live in community for a reason. So far we refused to read this poem, this elegy. And we did not listen to the public eulogy of the only saints who ever slowed down to realize what they lost in the September rain. Because we will all die alone. Sitting in the emergency room, but no one takes notice that you are dying. No one takes notice you fall to the floor convulsing and breathe your last as the doctors walk uninterrupted. The holy sacraments we never cared about until now. The Lord we never called on until it was too late. It is never too late in reality, but we don't live in the real world. At the hospital requesting anointing of the sick, they tell me they don't know what that means. No one will again, and I'm stripped from the universe I have known. And I don't know why I can't let go of you. On earth we are far from Eden. I hear a voice in my mind explaining my pain to me. I want to hear your voice, not just in my mind, but in reality to see your picture, and maybe even remember what you look like. Never mind, the image of you is always overshadowed by images of saints who lived 300 years ago, by screenshots from unreleased Xbox games. Pure appreciation, words never become clear, never solid, never touchable, never viable. I need to feel your touch because we are perfect. I forgot what you look like. You remember every drop of moisture on my skin. Oh my dear, oh love, oh denial. When will you listen to the old cliche that never sunk into our minds, that never will be fulfilled? Seize today, forget the past. Dearest Christian, one day we will look at ourselves and remember the times we took pictures of ourselves in that mall in Toronto, and the times we spent laughing in those Spelman High hallways, and we realize that only we can see and feel and taste. Because Christian, your smile makes me feel like we're the only ones in the world. And maybe one day we'll have a Catholic wedding like our ancestors did for 2,000 years. I can see through these people, see the demons inside of them, and my skin grows pale. I want to go back in time and ask you to forgive me for the times I took you for granted. But now you're all I have, until Judgment Day. Ontario seems so foreign, though I've lived here for 4 years. You've lived here half your life. So many trials, so many wars, so many persecutions by those who have deluded themselves because of contortions and conspiratorial cover-ups, when no one would believe the visions you were seeing. Seeing that I was in danger, you warned me that it would cost you your relationship with me. When we lie, we secure a place in hell like those politicians and judges, presidents, prime ministers, senators, who never could slow down, never could think peacefully. The emotion I have for you is so strong that if emotions did any good by themselves at all, if this was put to prayer with the intercession of all the saints, time itself would turn back, and we would be together. You would feel it too. You would know what I'm talking about. And no one else will ever know. But for now I shiver in this Canadian winter, like the rest of the world shivers in their spiritual fog. The world filled with devils, our hearts filled with grace. The sigil hunting us down like animals, my prayers bathing you, sustaining you in grace. The storm never ending, my love for you which is Christ, recreates the land and sea, and all the broken memories of you and me. With hope for the life of the world to come, Natalie Gabler. The students file into Tom's creative writing class, and I know it's useless to wish to envision images that will convey how I feel inside. And when the band takes the stage, we'll all be in unity, and feel the same way I did when I reached out for your hand. Because we all fall sometimes, and all we need is someone to help us stand on our own, someone to lean on, someone to hang out with this summer, when no one else will take my calls. 5 years later, and standing in Times Square, and all I think about is what happened to Tom. I see the souls walking by, and the vast whole of them don't even realize that they are headed toward eternity in hell. And I wonder what happened. I wonder if I had chosen the right words. If I had known what would happen to Tom, he would still be alive, and we could keep in touch like he told me to. When we enter in to see God's face, nothing will stop me from screaming and convulsing, sobbing that salvation has come. But I may never see that day. All I can do is trust, and all I can hold to is love. But I find it so hard to believe that this torment will ever end. I was given one glimpse of eternity, but I may not see it again. But the rest of the world is hanging out of balance, and there truly is a place where we belong. Here is not it. We crowd around the Presbyterian preacher who says we're all going to hell. He's right, but not for the reasons he believes, and he's going too. And I can't make sense of why my thoughts make no sense. Why my English professor keeps saying my words are incoherent. going from one thought with no transition. It's been 3 years since the last time I've seen a miracle, seen a vision, seen my ex-girlfriend. I will go insane without the feeling I will never feel again. That is without the presence, overwhelming joy, the state of grace. I felt grace before it fell upon me like snow, and infused itself inside me, and I walked around that stadium looking at the people's faces, wanting to ask each one if they knew, if they could taste it, but I was alone in bliss, the bliss less attainable than putting another man on the moon, than leaving the physical universe, but no one knew. No one cared about the peace that no drug could ever bring, and I know more than ever that we are ignorant to grace. In Ontario, I opened the blinds and watched the city unfold. We played with fire and reduced our hearts to ashes. In this day, I'm leaving the world behind to follow in the footsteps of the heretics who never existed. I want to see because there is no hope for finding an eternal city. And I see the riots, see the skyscraper bombs going off, the fire, the preachers were right. The new school year ended abruptly with news of war and apostasy and brimstone. My name is Christian Ehrlichman. There will be no good times. We are the last ones, it's all gone. Toronto was the last city, no more Ontario, slavery. Lord my God, you fell fast asleep, waiting for someone to pick up the phone, but no one will answer again. So much more that never existed. Car trips to Atlanta, and into the sacraments, the only remedy we could have had, and the demons strut about on every side, only I can see them. Broken-hearted affairs because of war, because of being a refugee, traveling to the States. A world without you, Natalie. I've forgotten what was said. I kissed you, walked in by your parents. I love you adds balance, and there will be no more balance. And we've had no life ever since. And fuck the ones who always press us down because they are fireworks on the 4th of July, like us, spit in the face for speaking out. The fog has fallen upon us. No one speaks clearly. We've all been led on this whole time. There will only be days spent at home in a small town, alone. We've opened all the gates to hell outside the church parking lot. In our normal lives, they watched our every move, but I'm not normal like everyone else. All I feel is pain, and the dying lights guide me home. Preaching outside the Catholic Church, hoping to save our lives, but he will never remember our ancestors who on their deathbeds professed the faith to their dying breaths. They flood my dreams every night. They have passed on to a world we can never imagine or hope to penetrate ourselves. I tread in the open water and will never find the shore. No faith. A spiritual fog across these hallways, someone ripped from me, and I swallow the bitter drug of this tragedy. That moment when the full force of a reality without you overencumbers me. When we come to the point we'll never know what really happened, unless we find out we'll burn without a doubt. We used to laugh, and I thought people never changed. But you have, and if you listen to what I have to say, you would say that we were lied to, and you would hate the counter-church, jaws open wide. But still loneliness is all I feel. Reading poetry in front of the pool by the tennis court. Unless there's a God, we will never see the world the way it is, but only as we have been conditioned to see it. Embodying what the men who styled themselves as men of God would have us believe, but they never had supernatural faith, the kind that would light all the paths away from here, when we walk through the darkness of so many errors. I am a martyr. Genocide will be cleansed by the gasoline dripping from our tongues. As once again I see the bars I've seen my entire life. And it hurts to be alone more than the flames that will consume my skin. All the faceless people were deaf and blind all that month they just walked by, and never knew the throbbing pain inside my heart. But tonight we'll be crucified for the only love worth dying for, to end the haziness for one day. I hate you with my dying breath. I spit in your face before you light the match. Know that one day I will find you in hell, and my face will torment you for eternity. I'm not Jesus Christ. Instead of walking on water, I drown in the void. She stands naked on the hill, in view of the sea, and as sure as there is a God in heaven, I can feel her skin against mine. Natalie Gabler, like we all are meant to be, she is worried that as the days go by, instead of looking for the sunrise, we will drink poison mixed with wine, too drunk to even know. I saw her in a vision, and she told me, from now on we will not receive the sacraments. People rejected them as outdated superstitions. From now on, no choir will sing Cantate Domino, because all hymns are old and dreary. And as these nights without song, holiness, or revelry, love or lust go by, We always contemplate suicide, wondering why God fell fast asleep. But she's the one with hope, when there's no space to breathe, no time to rest between the prison walls. No one tries to understand. No one grasps what's between their hands. The authorities do what they are paid to do, lead us violently into isolation. I feel her like my perspiration, soaking on my skin, reminding me that one day I'll see her standing unveiled, pure and holy, by eternity's shore, and the grass will be cut against our feet, because we are so much more real than these empty hallways, where we could call home 1,000 times but no one would ever pick up. If I had power, this world would pass away before our eyes, but I'm no Jesus Christ. We have no conception, death without resurrection. We are free to destroy ourselves. I live and do not say a word, and every day without exception I fall in love with the secret world, and the more I grasp for it, the farther it flies away. Each day a covenant is broken. Each day we reap damnation upon ourselves. Never to find the key to salvation, we always tempt the flames. I can't keep myself inside my skin, because forgetting one's own vocation is the cardinal sin. God knows we lost the gnosis long ago, and if I tried to call you, you'd never return my calls. Static noise fills up the void when we forget the past. From now on we will just make our plans, but we never will arrive. We will sit inside this lecture hall, and all we will hear are lies. Valentine's Day 2011. When no one is watching, your thoughts will never see the light of day. When the pain is overwhelming, it will never be numb again. We forget who St. Valentine is. We forget he died a slow and painful death, and we put words in the mouths of saints, rather than understand the message which they died to have us understand. Those words will never leave my mouth. I stutter when I speak, and the words never materialize. I walk through the New York City streets. I take Natalie's hand in mine, and we will escape from the world. And I'm tired of writing the same words in every letter I write to her. Tired of not understanding what the truth about love is. Caught up in feelings and chasing after the wind. Thought we knew all this time. Thought we were following destiny, but we were lied to and deceived. Love is not a feeling, but rather communion. It's like the film where the guy is left alone in the space station for the entire rest of his life, and slowly he goes insane. We might all go insane. Our features have both been written with a script that I dared you to erase and rewrite yourself. That smile goes through my mind like the sound of a broken record, and the sound of her voice I hear like the hallucinations of a schizophrenic. Let's rewrite the pages of our future, because this is our world, these are our lives. They can be anything we want them to. Torture. Nothing about this is simple. This is where we lose our souls. This is where we slit our own throats. This is where the earth burned without warning before we could say goodbye. This is where the voices stop. This is where the laughter has ceased. This is where words are useless to change the mind of anyone for one moment, for one instant. I disappear. You become a liar, lying to yourself. The blood spilled across these hallways, the insanity. We never could think soberly, never could wait for one moment, never could slow down, never could leave the hate behind. We're totally blind to everything except what remains in brilliant light. This is where we stand before execution. This is where we lose the only joy we could have had without even looking for, without even thinking of. The only words that could save us, and the only one to blame is you. Why can't we remember the times we lived in community, the times before there was more torture than laughter? Another day trapped here, simply cannot evaporate, locked in a closet. Division 3. Blissful, willful ignorance. The door to heaven shuts amidst the screams, left to rot. I forgive you, but please do not contact me ever again. Wisdom 3:12. From now on, life will be like this. We lose ourselves tonight. The past we never spent in celebration. Another train wreck. Another day you'll burn in hell. And I won't be able to stop you. The world is a prison. This classroom is a cell. All I want to connect with you, wasting every moment of our time. Never took the time to define who we are. We never lived a day happy the way we are. And in our isolation is the only place we'll find each other. We'll sooner reach the stars than ever find each other. And all the feelings I have for you none have proper names. They stay the same and weather every storm. But I know one day I'll wake up from my dreams. That this day will end is a lie I want to believe. Your love is better than wine. It's something divine. It's breaking my heart, and I'm not alive. No, I'm not alive. To sum up 2013, what is eternal? Simply ethereal, out of touch with truer things. Affection, lost connections. How beautiful is the sacrament of unity, but we are out of reach, out of touch, like Jesus Christ in whom I trust. Because she was there in my dreams in the movie theater, but she told me because I'd never be faithful that we can't see each other. I wonder if we'll see each other when our lives are done, but what are the chances of that? My soul cannot resist the sadness, the longing, and I know we must let go. Canto 5. Saint Gemma bore the wounds of God. She died and will rise with him. And I wonder what life would be like if she could talk back to me, because all we need is a comforting voice that cuts through all the lust. All we need is to know that someone hears, is listening every night. Patron saint of purity of heart, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. The fog over my head, the solitude I'm left in, but it is not loneliness. No one wants to sacrifice, no one wants to die. We all are locked inside ourselves, and we imbibe the lies, like Holy Scripture written from the only God we give our hearts to. But instead he breaks his promises, and if we knew where we were, we would see how dark the world has become. Carol does not want to talk about it. Like everybody else, we live through apostasy. The world is a spiritual desert, and as October passes, we'll find ourselves soaked in apparitions, other worlds that will never materialize. She died a slow and painful death, and we will never realize. We all die slow and painful deaths until it is too late. What we need is surety that we are walking the wrong direction. So then we'll know without a doubt the world is insane. Save us from our greater love blinding us to the pain we cause the ones who never existed to feel, or rather not to exist at all. Because no matter where in the world you go, you'll find nothing but sadness at all. And we are more deceived than those tricked into willful murder. The day Iran set off the bomb, eyes glued to the television, the day we took the mark of the beast, we lay there sound asleep. And when we lose our mortal souls and hell's our destiny, there will be no one to pour a single drop on our burning tongues. The day ISIS slit our throats, we sat in the classroom, we drank our wine. The day all knowledge was destroyed, forgetting everything then and now. It is impossible to feel. All we want is to sleep with beautiful celebrities. Selena Gomez takes the stage singing childhood songs about the Holy Roman Church. It firmly believes, professes, and preaches that all those outside the Catholic Church, not only pagans but also Jews or heretics and schismatics, cannot share in eternal life, but will go into the everlasting fire that was prepared for the devil and his angels. Unless I am joined to the church before the end of my life, I will never see her face again. The dogs then slit her throat, as she screamed that we'll be together forever, forever, forever never ends. Too long a time to be away from her, too long a time to reap what I've sown. All the stories we read in books like drowned out spirits will never come true or save our souls. And all I think about is the way a woman moves on the dance floor, the way her body feels in bed, the way our children will never learn, never hear the truth. 1,000 scattered thoughts, a Bible with all its pages torn, a world of disenchantment, the last day of high school, a nation we never thought would burn, picture frames that will never be filled. Brother Peter Diamond, when we walk the path to hell, I want to walk alone. All the words from all the books, filled with nothing but erroneous phrases, promises that will never come true. Oh dear Father, Michael Miller, in a photograph, priest of a forgotten religion, wielded divine authority, whose sins you forgive are forgiven, and whose sins you retain are retained. Bless me, for I have sinned. I want to feel more than her body, Father. I want to pierce her soul, but we don't know where we are. The duped members of the counterfeit church every single day. There are no stars that guide their path, none of their dreams come true. Natalie never leaves me night or day like drug-induced ecstasy. The children will only see in the invisible kingdom, but we have no life. I thought by now the world would end, but I still live and breathe. The torture we feel with every breath just to take it in. The stars you saw don't exist at all of them have burned and died. And Natalie and I escape from the world, the skies of gray become fields of light. Green fields we'll walk through, but we will never breathe. Just die and rise again. We will not reap what we sow. In the Toronto apartment, the world is too quiet, and I'm overcome, speechless at the sound of the riot that fills the streets. We are all different kinds of people. I come home and see Pat Robertson on the TV screen, receiving new revelation. He predicted a terrorist attack, but he's a false prophet. Natalie Gabler taught me all I know about forever. She drifts through this world trying to make it as best she can. Even though she's been handed the shortest stick, people wanted control like Joseph Smith. A new unverified belief system, don't question what you're told. We've had a joy stolen from us. There will be no one to speak to in this pain. I recognize the angels of light as venomous, from the lowest circle of hell. I'll pray the 15 decades every day, and for those 15 years, I know the night will slip away and I'll fear her touch me. A true miracle of unity, an end to all the schisms. One day I will have my revenge. One day I'll be far from here. Far from Ontario, a spiritual desert, the void, the darkest place. I reject every politician. There is not much time left in the world, Sarah. And we're at the tail end of the epic story. But there are no heroes, no saints at the end. We are the very last ones, it's all gone. As if we were lost somewhere, orbiting the earth, where we have clear view of all the wars, all the heartache, but will never set foot on earth again. When the bombs go off, when we forget who God is, the way, the truth, the life, the Eucharist, the risen Christ, and we will go to our deaths. There are no more prophets, we will leave ourselves behind. All that's left is time alone in a mental hospital, where I spent my better days, my only days with you. In the same cast of characters flooded our lives, projected on the screen. I remember I was here 3 whole years ago, and not a day goes by when I don't think about what no one cares about. I remember falling in love so many years ago, but I am convinced it was a dream and she does not exist. I remember seeing the painting on the wall, the horses on the farm, and it fills me with tears to see it again. We are still damned to hell, where there will be no more peace or joy, and nothing will convince me that you are right and I am wrong. I want to take the pieces apart, the most important moments of my life, take the snapshot pictures and distort them to the point that they become unrecognizable. I want to warp the sound bites into a symphony that you will hear, and it will testify against you on the last day. Where are all the free thinkers, those who love to speak out? There's not a single soul. And who will save us when the saints are gone? It won't be me. And on that retreat years ago, I saw Katie crying, sobbing for all of her sins that God can't bring himself to forgive. She cried because she hurt you so much. She committed sins no one else could ever forgive. She wasn't there for you in your darkest moments. We are expended every day. We are lost, never to return home again. When I was 20 years old, when all our plans failed to take us to foreign and exotic lands far away from here, we made a promise to each other in my bedroom, skin against skin. And Mother of God, save me. Save me from my unforgivable sins. Have I blasphemed the Holy Spirit, taking pills to make the pain go away? And she said, why do you feel so much torment? You're so young. You remind me of my last boyfriend who was also a Christian. And our pasts are lost forever if we don't repeat them in our minds. And I still want to leave this lecture hall. Still want to repent of all my sins, but there are no priests to hear them. Holy Catholic priests, all of them are dead. 10 years go by, we are alone, and I'm not worth your time. But your sins will never be forgiven. I met her in the chapel 4 years ago, before I knew how to live on my own, before the world became consumed in flames of forgotten ecstasy, when ISIS was not threatening every moment of our lives, before Katie said, it's not my role to oppose Sharia law. I was sitting next to Patricia, and I remember what she said about Walt Whitman, how I told her, I'm going to write like him someday, creating a snapshot of the world by sour and daily life. Tom Dusterhaus is my only teacher, who still teaches me from the other side. The nature of verse, the unfulfilled rhyme of death, ever-present verbiage of those who clamor for their place in hell. But Patricia never knew will perish in the flames, and not only us, but anyone who follows in our footsteps. She never responded to my text 2 years ago. I wonder if what we do will matter in the next few 100 years. Here everything we do is worthless, no change will come from tears. Slamming the Spelman High School lockers shut. Another day to just complain. All the words I never say when I'm not with her. All the days that never materialize when we don't breathe harmoniously. The bullshit that they put us through. Redemption never wins. Blood across the concrete, I will never be myself again. No one at all read the poem I wrote at the end of 10th grade. All the things I think about, the kind of nightmares that flooded my childhood dreams. The way Natalie smiles, the way she walks away. We will not escape from the weeping and gnashing of teeth. This is because of the charity we will never have, and that charity is God. my rosary beads in hand. No more words of joy, no more kiss of peace. There will be no more God, more torture here than laughter in the end. Love poems no one will read at the end of the world. Your body so far from mine, but your blood mingles with mine. Still here, lead me to your calm shores, the day we give ourselves away, the ones we cannot bring ourselves to forgive. I need to hear your voice. We became dead in vindication. We are never healed. Never will drink from the cup of our salvation on our wedding day. As the sunlight lays upon the altar, the ever-present Lord is nowhere present in our lives. We love the stars we cannot reach. We burn the saints at the stake. We never let them live. I sit alone on the high school floor. I pretend that I can touch your soul. We live each day so deceived, blind by the God of this world. If I even could express it, you'll never know how I feel. You're my beloved. It's not hard to fall in love when others cannot seem to slow down. Step outside and breathe it out. Feel the wind against your skin, the teardrops like the rain. I give myself away. I sleep on the concrete floor, the sunlight piercing through, and we will sing in harmony until we recognize how beautiful we are. And I put up with this bullshit too, and we are not alive, and we walk through the valley of the shadow of regret, deceived, victimized, totally blameless. Sleep outside and drink it whole. Feel the time wither your skin away. The city is no longer here, which you strove all your life to find, but no longer exists. Maybe one day when I stand in some imaginary city skyline, or in the churchyard, or in my bedroom, my only sanctuary, I'll be able to see the world the way it is and walk to a new supernatural realm. I read the news again. They found a cure for cancer, and a cure for alcoholism too. An end to the wars in Liberia, where we lived in slums and died in vain. A tragic end to ignorance, and hatred burned until it could exist no more. We took control, steering the way, clear to new destiny. We don't know what we've done. We never will be free. As long as my heart is beating, it's pagan and diseased. We've never been in more need of being saved than we are here today. I cried out for help when my sister died, pacing across the bedroom floor. But even if she was brought back to life, my pagan heart would still beat the same. There are still problems no one will solve. There will be days when we will cry out for help, but no one will ever hear. In Syria, war will never end. And when the world burns in nuclear fire, love is my religion. I am cleansed by it. Jordan takes the stage, filling everyone with rage, with not much time left to live. They signed our souls away, and no one will speak again. The lovers will never exchange their vows again. We are living through the end of the world, and we can't change at all what happens in the future any more than we can alter the past. And one day we will realize that anyone who tries to separate us has committed themselves to sinfulness more bold than destroying the entire world. And all I think about is high school. All I think about is sitting here alone, writing my thoughts, condemning the universe to your very face. We wake up every day and go to Spelman, and I'm struck with a chill, a sudden coldness as the bus rolls on. There are no words to say. I walk through those doors, but no one knows. I'm not transparent. I'm simply a ghost no one can see at all. Drowning in these hallways, sitting down alone, rosary beads in hand. They walk by, I'm dying inside. 10 years later, I'll never see those faces again. And the simple math I never learned, that when Natalie isn't here, I'm still alone. I hit a wall. I bang my head against it. I punch it till my hands bleed. There will be no place safe. No one is safe. We're all dead. No one has authority. Our life purpose lost. Trapped in a cage that we can't see. Led and fed to lions, willingly like sheep to the slaughter. Sacrificing our own daughters. There is nothing sweet. There is no one kind. I am the last of my kind. New York City has lost its spark. We are far from glorified. We are victimized daily. Take up your cross and follow me. The International Church of Christ, all hypocrites, proselytizing, mesmerizing, falling victims to their own traps. Struggling each day to pay the rent. We don't have anywhere to go. The rhythm of the drum set at the late night concert, representing the beat of our hearts. The torture we put ourselves through. How we never could sleep peacefully or enjoy a single moment of our lives, fretting over every wrong. We hung up the phone at the end of the world. You don't know how beautiful you are. We put words in the mouth of God. We vanished on the day of mourning, because you cannot see what I see. You cannot feel what I feel against my skin. And more than just my skin, it penetrates my soul and every atom of me. Every breath of mine exists because of you. The riot we started has begun, and I will not be merciful at all to the ones who stole charity from the face of the earth. It's only hard to hold on when you have a roof over your head and food to eat each day and every night. But in reality, we have nothing when we have these things. We will not understand until we lose these things, until we shut the door to the better part of our lives, because every time we choose a path, all the others die. And we speak for God. Can you see the kingdom come? It isn't far from this dorm room where we sat and talked for hours. I will never ask anything from you except to know for sure that you have this charity too. The night we stayed up reading poetry together, Walt Whitman speaks to me, and here we are alone. What is reality and time passing but a moment that will soon be gone? As soon as it appears, the next instant will replace it. We are drowned out. Although when we sat on the floor reading poetry, I knew I could not go on or breathe or even be satisfied with our present grip on reality, because I know that every picture I see is beautiful, every word I hear is true. We are numb with contradiction. All I think about is you. Because we lose our sanity if we repeatedly think about this. We need to lose our sanity. We need to retain our first kiss with the only lover we'll ever know. Blind, we cannot see her. No one knows where she is or where she goes. I have so much to say, and all we need are scriptures, or at least reassuring words that we know where we are going. And we read those lyrics on those nights. We were too afraid to die alone. We'll die so young, every one of us. We'll journey but never find our home. But there is no weight you have which I do not carry myself. The barrenness of what you strive every single day to bring forth to take for yourself. The small room that you will never leave. The words no one will force you to say. And your feet have grown roots. I've stood here like a tree long enough. We are lectured by the politicians who never lifted a finger to help us, who do not care about the past, the long-lost lovers who will never walk the face of the earth again. Those with supernatural faith have become a dying race. We are bound with more than blood. We cannot speak or unravel the twist that's become of our hearts. I want the president to know, but she doesn't care about the twist that complicates us, that leads us to tragedy. The power that hammers down on us, smashes us to bits, and I cannot think about peace so far from me. Although for one night we had it, for that night we were free. And I still see you next to me. I cannot let go, I do not hold on. I pay my respects at Sarah's grave. She never found any kind of peace. Totally stunned at the throbbing pain life brings. God himself abandons us. We see what eternity is like for one moment, just to lose it all. I told her we'd get out of this. I told her nothing but lies. Still staggered, cannot stay here. Will never again move on. I lay the flowers in the tomb. Flowers that decay. Words we lost when the hard drive crashed. Pictures we will never see. Days go by, and I'm here on the Spelman High School floor. All we need to share the pain, to die in the arms of the ones we love. We are scattered, scarred forever, but we are abandoned in the end. I can only speak for myself, but my wounds will never heal. No divine miracle will ever lift me from this place. Poison on the airwaves. Death comes to us in every work of the imagination. We have dissented from the authoritative magisterium. We have lost our will to continue, have fallen prey to mass hysteria, a victim in isolation pulling us down. The magic we will never find because it is now useless, and our release from here is mathematically impossible. I never did the arithmetic, the very simple equations. We made our choices in ignorance. All of us are guilty. All of our lives are set. All we see are dollar signs because we cannot remember what it was like when we were so young so many years ago. Like the time I broke my arm, and someone was there to find me, to take me home when I was lost in the woods. Didn't know where I was. Imprisoned to the greed inside, wanting to take back what we lost, but taking what belongs to someone else. And I bear the wounds of God. I walk the path to hell, to desolation. We are not persuaded that anything at all is true. We know nothing. We guard our pockets. We never guard our souls. We sell our sisters into prostitution. There is nothing lovely. I'm afraid we never understand each other. I am wild. You can never contain me. Predict what I will do next. Broken loose from chains, abstractions, from your false religion, from the creeds you hold so close. Punk rock guitar at every show. I use my words to rule the world. Songs to make them sing. I sing about what I dream about every night. I had a dream about Molly, that we talked all night in her minivan, but then I woke up, and I thought that I was dead. How could it be any other way? You left me for Lucifer, and I'm going through the notebooks I haven't kept in years, because my parents would read every word I wrote. but they will never understand. The truth I haven't told in years. That I am losing my mind each and every day, slowly but surely. The days that go by until you will stop talking to me. The summer heat that makes every day sour. The wind and fall that makes me want to turn back time. The day I walked away from you. And we all know that people who force their religion on you are not pious at all. All they want is control, to get back at the ones who bullied them in school. They threaten them with hellfire. Jefferson Bethke never responded to my YouTube comment, and I don't expect him to, because he puts on a false facade, but not a day goes by when I don't regret being away from you. I can't control the way I feel, will never again move on, but I picked up old notebooks again, the few that have survived, the day I locked the door to my room, and everyone else will smile, but I have a serious face, knowing the gravity, that I am dead, hollow inside. Because you left and did not say a word, I cannot control the way I feel, will never again move on. My How to Pray the Rosary sheet is torn up in the corner of my room. Heretics never listen, I'm screaming in their ears. We never slow down enough to hear, and it is painful to know that you don't listen. I don't know what's left of me, who I am is not who you see. I can't recall the death of me, all that's left is what you see. Natalie stands by the ocean, everything slows in motion. She is my affection, how beautiful is her sacrament of unity. Of all the things I know that this is not a lie. I know I could never let her die. She stands in the dark night, holds a candle high and bright, gives me every reason left to fight. And the thickest darkness is this night. It hides all of this world from sight. Forever in the shadows stay all my dreams and yesterdays. I cannot see over the tree line. I do not know what is to become of me. A voice shouting in the night. When the sun comes up, down the road I walk alone. There is no one else, I'm on my own. The stars will guide me on my way, because I have never seen the light of day. The path moves onwards away from here, farther down across the year. I do not know how much blood I have lost. Years later I will tell you that nothing matters anymore. If I see you walking out that door, then you turn the other way. The time will come some other day. All the past I can't recall, but doesn't matter. The fire is burning here tonight, because things are not the way they are supposed to be. I'll turn the tables, then you'll see. Nothing matters anymore. I can't see you walking out that door. The new day will come. I will suffer through every minute of it. What should have been now is gone. Division 4. The Jihadist Jesus. I miss her with all my heart, like the honesty which has left the lips of everyone. Each day I learn the art of dying well, before the shadows, the days, are gone, and I will never honor your false prophet who is now burning forever in hell. And the Jesus you preach to me, clad all in black, is a demon and not a prophet, not a king, not a lord, not a kind counselor, not the one who would light all the paths away from here, not the one who would wipe away my tears, but only one who would give you what you want and put your knife in hand, ready to decapitate my best friend. I saw the news yesterday. No one speaks out, no one cares. I dropped my glass of wine. It shattered on the floor. When I learned of Kayla's death, hit so hard that I can't even comprehend. Et non expurgiscentur. I cannot remember a moment of life at Spelman Catholic High School. We pretended that we were alive, but all of us without exception forgot how it feels to be alive so many eons ago. And I was lost in a different realm that no one could ever touch, no matter what they did to find it, except through the bond of perfect charity. But no one has that virtue. We've been through this all before, and we will never wake up. Most of us are doomed to an eternity in hell, where the hottest flame on earth would seem cold in comparison, and all I can do is hold on to a faith, to a God that seems so distant, that we will one day get out of this, one day embrace the bond of charity. I made a promise to forget the faces of those I will never see again, and when we forget, will the Lord of Lords remember and hold us all accountable for the amnesia we've self-induced. Now we have nothing left but a hunger for a life everlasting, but most stand at the door with no oil to light their lamps. Once the door to the kingdom is shut, it will never be opened again, and we all suffer at the hands of those who were pawns in the strings, locked in a room just 4 walls and a barred window. And the drugs begin to peak, and the demons never cease to strut about, and those who put those chains on you will not stop until you are dead. Come to the font of baptism, but all those untouched by the water and the blood will be lost forever. Auctoritate Divina. The nights we spent together never stick in the back of my mind. When we looked at the stars on a retreat, asking all the tough philosophical questions that no one will ever answer. If we were in need of being saved, there would be no one left to save us. In all those nights I still felt so alone. As it is, no one stands with divine authority. And I look at Natalie's picture in the Syrian refugee camp, gunshots in the distance telling me to stay true to her, no matter how I feel, and even if no one will ever understand, and even if we never make it out alive and hate is all we know. The nights we spent apart are always on my mind. A black flag of a broken covenant, and blood spilled across the high school floor. The bombs continue to fall, and this war will never end. In all my life we were lied to about the most important questions, and I can still feel the shadows fall like a total eclipse upon my dreams. The only hope I have is when I look at the cross. The only faith I have is that we will die one day. The only charity I have is for those who are torn to bits. Ontario is so far away like a demented memory, warping every single time it ever comes to mind. And most will not know it is real, because they are abandoned by their true love. God knows they told all true love to leave their lives. And the Islamic State waves their unfurled black flag, and I stand amidst the crowd and hear from a distance, like a cackle of hyenas, the enemies of the cross roar as loud as they will. The Roman Church is dead. Its crosses will be broken. There is no God but Allah, and his enemies will burn in hell. And when the Christian skins have burned, Allah will replace them with new skins, and they will be burned again. As I slowly went insane, I wrote down the lyrics, the verses, the memories that gave me eternal hope. And when I forgot what to write, God would always end the passage, reminding me that there are memories worth clinging on to, and to thank God that we tend to only remember good things. If not, I would have been dead long ago. But death itself would be nothing painful, yet at the same time so sorrowful, and I would rather disbelieve than worship any other God. I'd rather never fall in love than fall for someone other than Natalie, who had so much hope and always could stay calm, and the sorrow we had inside our souls could not destroy us. But with every breath we took together, just wasting time in the world, while everyone seemed so sure about themselves. And we cannot forget the night when we suffered needlessly, but everything happened for a reason. That night was Judgment Day. Peace had left Christian's life, but the flames of the burning buildings illuminated the spirit found only in his dreams, and in the new world unfolding in his dreams, puppets on the string filled with wickedness could control the world, dying to destroy the warmth. She felt his warmth all night. She was beginning to feel death whisper into darkness. Natalie had spent 10 years alone, away from him, but those 10 years faded. She crawled in bed next to him, didn't stay against his skin. She shivered. After the longest day, she gave it up to him. The years go by, and she hated the nights she spent alone. I want this to be over, and I pretend hell, death, and retribution cannot keep us apart. No one expected the conspiratorial cover-ups on the part of those pulling the strings. People put their hearts to death while I remained silent. In silence she sat, her hand on his. I don't think that anymore. Everything changed. We have paid for all of our sins. Natalie lost the ability to find the real truth. Most choose to believe the lies. Christian was aching, but there he faded into the immediate future. This is the way time always passed. Natalie felt his embrace, the crossroads of insignificance, forever against his lips. The rain, lost and deadly serious. You have no power to save it, Natalie. Please prove me wrong. Christian said, I hope I'm wrong. The consequences of the truth always the same. The weekend was the beginning of plans for anarchy. We can never go back to those days. A lie can never satisfy us, only bring corruption. As war was threatening Christian and Natalie, they closed the bedroom door in broad daylight. No one will protect you or remember our love when I have passed away. I celebrate the joy that comes from you, the hidden creases of your naked skin. I inhale every breath as if eternity was here, as if we were alone. I dance alone in agony, the strobe lights on my face. No one will ever know the difference between the life we never lived together and the ones we lived apart. But to me, the world is dark without your rational voice. false creeds, false faiths, false celebration for what is passing so quickly, sitting in the embassy office and forgetting what I know inside my heart. Natalie's heart fades away like the last breeze I'll feel before I die, intoxicated by a siren song, having all the sex and taking all the drugs because we've never been more royally screwed than we are today, because of the souls of those who die in mortal sin or original sin alone go straight away to hell but to undergo punishments of different kinds. And tonight we come alive and see how high the stakes have become in the game of Russian roulette, our hearts filled with death and regret. The world is depraved, and although we did not choose to listen to the lies playing like a broken record each day and every night, we can barely remember those younger days when she, the love of life, still lived inside of us. But we do not know where she went, and without her no one at all can be saved, but there will be nothing left to save. We trust therefore by the mercy of our Lord of God, our shipwrecked souls will find the ones we dream about each day and every night. I sit in the Spellman classroom, lost in my thoughts, and when the time has passed away like the wind, we'll write our own futures, and I can only imagine what life will be like in the next few years, what city you'll be in, or even if we've both moved on and you've left the country, but here I am, just trying to say the words I never got a chance to say, lost somewhere up in space, begging to be found. Natalie Gabler. I will not be surprised if one of us will forget and the other will suffer, and when I forget about you and try to move on, I will remember who we are together and also go insane. But your kiss, Natalie, grounds me in reality, and I've never felt like that before. Always remember that this moment will never exist again. Please remember the way I always was, always searching for eternal life, for immortality. The only way I'll exist is when I'm alone with you, when we break free from the wicked curse laid upon us, by those who never had supernatural faith, by those who rejected charity, who never knew who we become when we were alone together. And all I'll ever do is pray to the Father, beg the Son, and entreat the Holy Spirit, that one day not just the pain, but also the loneliness you hide inside your skin, will one day be destroyed, because I have labored through war and given up my heart and soul. And one day you will know what I'm talking about. And my one last wish is that this longest day will end, and we will no longer be deceived. But I had a dream last night that I walked away from you, and when I realized what I lost, I also lost my mind. But all I did was pray to wake up, pray for another chance. We were made for love and to be loved, and as charity destroys your soul, burning like a candle, illuminating the pitch dark night. Christian Ehrlichman. Never listen to a word. No time to hear what I express. The lies entrenched inside, the barrier between us crippling me. The words we'll never say, complementarity. Don't ever listen to those songs again, and in separating, walking our own ways. Wishing to leave the world behind, moods swinging like the weather. Visions we cannot see in fields of light, skies of gray, are all vanishing and will be born again tomorrow. Had so much to tell you about the friends I made you'll never meet, the death felt inside of me, the boredom of the lectures I never listened to, remembering my first year at university, when I was the bravest one in the world. No one could push or shove me, they cannot tell me what was never true, and every song I ever sing I'll be shouting about you. But here's another year, and I know my charity for you is true. If the whole world is in love with lies, I know nothing matters at all if we believe the lies. This is my only faith. We fight a hopeless resistance. The days become too cold, and our lives projected on the TV screens. Maybe when they find out that we're dead, they'll find their hopes one with ours, doused in gasoline, taking gunfire from all sides and everything that is ripped from us. Our sisters who will never return home, the fathers who will never see their children again. It's never a problem unless it happens to you. And we rage against the state that would control the gift of our lives from the cradle to the grave. And we will never laugh again, never play foosball again, never sing a song again. And my heart, can it feel? The dragon speaks with nothing remaining but rivers of blood and mountains of bones. Lacey Green. This talk about Americans. They have no fate. I'm not inclined to break relationships. The secret emotion, it will be special, the one person found unprotected. You are mistaken and you cheat. It's your decision after all. I only have one person that no one can take away. We all come from the same place. I love you for listening. We are alone in a world where we refuse to feel pain. I talk to someone who feels my pain. She died 100 years ago. Our dreams come true. I have the same dream every night. I look for you and can't find you. Never let anyone tell you that you are not a poet. The ones pulling the strings never had human hearts. I want to disappear. I lost my human heart. I wake up at night to the sounds of bombs. And if you are reading this, I love you. Even if I forget what you look like, never let anyone tell you it's a cliche to tell you that I love you. Because every day I walk through the Bishop O'Connell hallways, and I realize that if I never told you I loved you, I'd be better off in hell, better off invisible so that no one can see me. And I still go to class. No one notices I'm not enrolled. No one notices I exist. Wars have always torn our nations apart. I've forgotten how to be a poet, to take in every moment. This is everything we predicted. We hear music giving our lives meaning, taking our every breath away. I can get myself outside. The world's a dreadful place. You only live once. You'll fall in love with death. Because we won't exist. The summer goes by. Our years vanish. We are alone. Suffocation. Sensations. Skin bearing down on soaked skin. These nights go on. We lose our mental health. Smashed into fragmentation, what we'll never feel again. Stars so far away, the kingdom will never come. Night and day. Odysseus journeys home, never to reach his destination. Am I alive like I was before? Natalie's lips against mine. No one can taste, no one can feel, heart to heart, skin to skin. The heaven will never know, cut off from us on our wedding day. Multitudes of words I'll never say. Highest mountains never move, although my faith is unwavering. Heaven so far away. Whispered a word of change and you'll never find it. Seek it in simplicity and you'll never escape from it. Walking down Toronto streets, when the night is cold, and slip from your arms like faith, hope, charity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Bring me to eternity's shore. Reality losing grip of it. Riots in Toronto streets. Bombs go off in faraway lands. What we had before, death and jobs, lives without a first cause, life without an existing God, is nothing compared to what we have together. We'll get out of this together, I promise. Division 5. All of these words are from Natalie Gabler. January 23rd, 2009. Scribbling on the notepad, fuck God. Over 100 times. I don't want to live in a world where no one stops to listen, where no one hears my prayers. If God were real, he would stop and light a path away from here. But we are in darkness, worlds apart. January 25th, 2009. I remember when life used to be beautiful. I fall into an ocean in which nothing is held certain, in which we have lost all our faith, confidence that the sun will rise tomorrow. Maybe our destiny is to never express how we feel, to have our lips sealed until Judgment Day. Maybe then things will turn out right if God ever shows up. I walk through the Spelman High School doors and feel the fog fall on me, feel the torment, the mania of the future, the depression of the past. Never believed in destiny, never believed in God, never could feel the sunlight, not for a single day. January 26, 2009. I think I need therapy or at least surgery for the open wound inside my heart. I tried to patch it up myself, but cut a deeper trench. Sitting in front of the therapist who asked me why I feel so much pain. She says my words don't have to be as eloquent as Shakespeare, and he will be fine. But I don't believe that anything I say will take the pain away. I don't believe in God, and I don't believe in redemption. I worry each day and every night for no reason at all. I walk out those doors and know things will never be better. February 14th, 2009. Dark clouds in the horizon, my soul drowning, convicted of the truth. This will never end. These times so crazy extinguish the hope for the future. I am a weirdo. I am alone. I need to hear your voice. Need to hear you call. Need to hear you say that I will make it out. Pressure. Joy has long withdrawn. Not expected to live in harmony. Self-fulfilling prophecy. I wish I was a fiction in your mind. And I saw the news today. The girl who threw herself out of the moving bus. Rather than face the torment, she died a slow and painful death. I cannot breathe without thinking of you. You are the light through the prison window, a fiction in my mind. February 17th, 2009. Time, no intermission, no seasons. Our futures are inseparable. Though I have never met you, no God worth praying to. It will be so tragic if this is all there is. We do not move on. We never existed. We read the news and give up the fight. We don't care that the days are darkening. February darkness at 6 a.m. I wake up as the bus moves through the city. We always regret our past mistakes. The choices we never made. Because I was not brave enough, I simply walked away. February 19th, 2009. Sitting in homeroom, remembering the days when we were lectured about what to do and what to say. I take out that notepad and write a letter that I hope you will read, though I've never met you. My mind is saturated with regret, wishing I had never lied, always told the truth. But habits have become so hard to break. No one will hear my voice, my sanity hanging by a single lifeline. I need to call on you, but you don't even exist. The girls walk in laughing. I will never be like them, never recognize them, never smile again. December 18th, 2009. My dad wonders why I cry so much. He wonders why I can't go on, why I can't spend any time outside in the darker world, why I can't see the world the way he does. He never expected to have a daughter like me, and I will never tell him why I'm in such agony until the day I die. If there's a God, then we are damned to hell. If there's no God, then nothing matters at all. I will never set foot in a church again. I'll pray before the altar of regret, drink from the cup of forgetting. All the faces I will never see again. Am I an alien, the only one who can feel this isolation? There is no purpose. I can no longer stand on my own. Couldn't even concentrate enough to do homework. I wish I had a voice. Wish we could fall in love. Wish I had a life of my own. Far away from here. Far away from this universe. Alone in my bedroom, my only sanctuary, I took the crucifixes off the walls and replaced them with lyrics to angry raps, songs about war-torn countries far away. January 21st, 2010. The end will never come. We will sing from our hearts, belch out the songs that and demonstrate clearly, in the light of day, that we deserve to live. Mistakes through our hearts like a spear, cutting us in ways we never thought we could bleed, taking security we never thought we'd need. Natalie Gabler, this is Christian Ehrlichman. His smile fills the oceans, the depths of my nuclear fiber, and we wanted to say fuck you to everyone, middle fingers to the sky. A sweet melody until the day we die, in each other's arms, and we'll shout fuck you from the Spelman High School roof, to the ones who look down on us, because they don't feel him like I do. No one will ever know. February 8th, 2010. I will never apologize for holding on. I sob uncontrollably in my dreams. We used to walk in the sunlight in my front yard. The winter I spent in Norway, the days were shortening, my mind was in a fog, and we will never realize how much we hurt each other. We burned each other's skin without noticing, and my heart died long before I knew it had, too late to do anything about it. May 6, 2010. We don't want to live here, even if it makes us happy. All we need is to leave here. Here is not a place, here is a state of mind. No unity, always division, always warnings of fire and brimstone from the sky. Today I learned about the day when Sarah killed herself. I believe we have lost our way, and now I understand why the better part of Christian is absent, why I cannot reach it. Her death drowned a part of him, and he doesn't even notice it. He couldn't live that way. May 7th, 2010. Everyone will let us down. Never stop to listen. I won't give my trust to anyone again. And those who speak for God are more the servants of Lucifer than those who look the part. Never suspected not to see through the perfect disguise, wolves in shepherd's clothing. And we never stop to recognize we don't realize the lies. We never could have fun, never could hear a comforting voice. We're always pressed down by those who spoke for God. I hope one day we'll wake up from this dream, and one day you will know what I'm talking about, but I don't see a way out. May 10th, 2010. The days are monotonous and are getting painfully long, which is why I need to hear your voice. Because you break the cycle, because you make me believe we will be far away from here someday together. My thoughts are racing. The class we took in which we were the only ones who passed because everyone else cheated on the final exam. The ones who would never read our writing, never understand it, never hear the words we whisper to each other, never stop to slow down or realize that people need other people. Dreams about the future keep me up at night. Had a dream that you were working in an embassy in a land across the ocean, and that I would never see you again. Dreams rarely ever are coherent. They rarely ever come true. May 11th, 2010. Every song I hear is a love song in one way or another, even if it isn't obvious. A world without someone to talk to someone to hold, is absolutely unthinkable. It takes my breath away. I guess it's wired into our being to connect with those we'll never reach, never be able to truly feel. In Christian's bedroom, and all night he held me. We exchanged vows as if we were getting married. Half of me believed he was joking, but I knew he wasn't. In a darker world, it is unthinkable to live a life without him. 2 years later, we'll say goodbye, and then we'll realize what we lose. May 12, 2010. I need to find a way to release, a way to let out the anger I hold. The stories I read about a world where the sun always shines constitute an outburst against the pain that threatens to grip my life, and drown and take any hope I have for leaving New York, or even smiling again. How any person you can name will always follow a convenient lie. Unthinkable how the hope I had before no longer exists. May 13, 2010. Grasping in the dark, we need an excuse to help each other up when we fall down because we have no connection, no love. May 14, 2010. I know death will come eventually. At least it's Friday. And I can go home and stare at the walls and contemplate the day when my lungs will stop. But for now, I am thankful to be alive, while the darker world continues to fall down the path it will never reverse, and everything I fear will happen eventually. May 15, 2010. I don't ever want to grow up, live in the colder world, where I know I'll never fit in, never hear the right words, the words of comfort or joy, because so much is broken when we don't speak. But Christians here, and we talk every night about new religions that no one knows about. We talk about what it's like to die, and if it's any different than having never existed, and I go to sleep and dream at night that I am unable to move when I need to speak, because if we spoke, we would hear about the torment in each other's hearts. But we only had one chance to let each other know. May 16, 2010. Sunday comes around. The world goes to church. The world is deceived. Religion will never satisfy us, always leave us wanting more. My imaginary friend never made me less lonely. Could not unravel the twist inside. Tomorrow will end where it begins, and the sunlight in the worlds I envision never materializes. May 17, 2010. On the Spelman High School floor, the world is frigid, but you are here, and your embrace is warm. If there's a God worth worshipping, I recognized him in the moment when Christian held me, while the other students walked in. The moment I lost my sanity, because I believe I'll never make it through this Monday without him. May 19, 2010. The world has come full circle. Our bright futures are receding. I cannot sit still. At the end of the world, if it did come, and it won't, we'll be called by the people who know what's really going on, but we will rudely hang up on them. I should feel safe, but it never made me happy, never made me feel sure about myself. And I know that our cores are raw and intact. But the flesh surrounding us convinces us that we have to stay in this world, that we cannot simply disappear in the day of our best friend's funeral. But I still believe the world will never end. We need to escape with our lives, but in the next 300 years we'll be dead and buried. The days aren't getting any brighter, the weeks are dragging on, and we have all the time left in the world, but only one lifetime to live. How beautiful it is to think, Christian, that life goes on without us. It doesn't matter if one of us dies and the other suffers. December 11th, 2010. We are peaceful. We will never fight back. May 26, 2011. People tell me that you're not afraid to die. I'm not afraid to die at all. I'm totally at peace, because no one will remember us. We don't talk like we used to. We only talk past each other. We never recognize how dreadful life is because we're enthralled with every moment. And we will never forget a day. All I need is to hear Christian's voice. There's nothing here worth fighting for, no cause worth dying for. December 31st, 2011. We believe the world will never end. Let's wait 10 years and see if we're proven wrong. January 1st, 2012. Christian called me last night, something about demons, vampires that want to drink our blood, brand us as their own. I know he's lost his mind. The scariest part is he believed every word he said. January 2nd, 2012. We can't see each other anymore. Please stop contacting me. You've become someone else. I'm living my life the way I want, and I will never change. We used to be so close, but I cannot go down the path you've chosen, cannot worship a God who drowns creation in fire, fierce and wild. You need to know I love you. You need to know the world descends to hell. Those words will echo in my mind for the next 10 years. I do not want to sacrifice. I do not want to die. August 31st, 2015. Silence comes over me. Silence never ends until death. August 7th, 2016. I can never imagine, I will never recognize how much I need you. No one will ever drop what they are doing for any reason, not even on Judgment Day, when we reject the Catholic faith forever. We walked out that door into the dark world, where all that is here, loneliness, decaying, clawing down on our lives. Tell me about the pain you feel. I will never admit, never believe that it is real. The years went by and I was asleep. Wish I had recognized the freedom we will never have, the days we never spent by the pool. August 9, 2016. I saw my brother today for the first time in 4 years in the living room. He just stood there for 10 seconds, the shadow over his face. I've come to tell you the one who created this universe is no God worth worshipping. He'll drown the world in fire, he said. I no longer recognize him. I will no longer be there for him. He's gone down a path I will never follow. And I sat down next to him in total shock, and he told me, I've joined the sigil and I don't regret what I've done. I told him I'm scared of everything he's become. August 10th, 2016. I call Christian and tell him what happened, and he is not shocked to hear I called, but he is shocked to hear the path my brother chose. I want to be far from here. I no longer feel safe. The sigil will haunt you, and they will not stop until you are dead. He is dead for all you are concerned. You cannot save him or change him back. It hurts to know so much that my brother once was there for me when the world was darker, but now he imbibes everything I've feared, drives me with sudden fear, kicking and screaming away. August 12, 2016. Walking through the New York City streets, in the fog over my head, hoping they will never find me. All my past concerns are nothing, and I know there is a meaning to life, but the air is frigid at night. August 13, 2016. Water pouring over my head. Why is it that we can't see and don't know where we are? We will go under the water together, but we will not know when we will leave. Even if hellfire rains from the sky, as long as you kiss me, I'll be happy. Even if we never understand what the truth about love is, still numb with desperation, filled with hatred, while everyone is concerned with where they will be next year, I do not care at all. As long as I can sleep in his arms, as long as joy exists, as long as life is real, as long as I can feel, taste, breathe. And I do not know what the future holds, but I can hear the sirens and hear the bombs, dying to leave New York, dying to believe Christian when he warns me, but no one is more faithless than myself. We have lost all connection, only bound by the waters of recreation, only bound with a blood covenant of our own, made with our skin against skin, in the darker world a miracle. August 14, 2016. And now I remember what it was like to simply talk to Christian, what it is like to breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that we are not dying of cancer, but we are dying of something much worse. But I no longer care. I can feel the wind against my skin, the spirit that watches over us, truth that will never fail, and the sigils conspiring against us, plotting our demise. We're the last ones who can see clearly the world the way it is, and I know I still feel the shattering pain, tearing slowly at my heart. Veins are ripping, and I know I never will feel safe again. And all the events of the world are going the way Christian said they would. Another attack by terrorists in the streets of Washington, D.C. Another bombing in faraway lands. Another day we suffer in perfect misery. We are the only ones to feel the beauty in the storm. We're the only ones to know this. And I wonder what made my brother lose his mind like he has, take a complete 180-degree turn in his life. He is so far gone, he is unreachable. August 18, 2016. The one who founded the sigil was a former Benedictine monk in the 13th century. He made a pact with the devil, who appeared to him in a vision of lead and gold, and promised him that the woman he loved would be his forever if only he obeyed. And I know the days are counting down, and we will realize how much pain this act of selfishness cost us. But he only lived for another year. When his friends stabbed him in the back, fresh blood in their hands, they wanted to have his power, to bend people's will, to change the course of history, to know aspects of the future and predict what will happen line by line. Power they believed to be almost limitless, but there was no way they could save their own skins, No way they could walk away unscathed. August 19th, 2016. Christian told me he loves me anything more than anything in the entire universe. And I did not say a word in response because my pain is overwhelming. Christian told me he wanted to live with me, and if the sigil ever come back, he will protect me from the vampires that want to drink our blood. And I can see the demons that flood the world and haunt our every footstep. I want to leave this country. I want to leave New York. January 6, 2017. Taking the New York City subway. Another day in my dead-end job. Another day to complain. The demons that surround us, the vampires that want to eat our flesh and drink our blood. This is how we are victimized every single day. We never will have a soul to tell, because no one will ever believe. And all I think about is high school. Can you feel my skin against yours? We are alone together. We are dying in each other's arms. But slowly and surely, life will be like this. There will be no more comfort for joy. Just walking through the streets of a world that will burn in nuclear fire. And deep inside my nuclear fiber, I know that this pain was meant to end. We are never satisfied with what we feel, but saying your name is enough to mask the agony. January 7th, 2017. Say goodbye to this world that we knew so briefly, but it means more than heaven because it descends to hell. Every day from now on I will always say I love you, because I will give myself away, even if we never find each other. You are broken, you are bitter, you are filled with venom, fire that will consume the world, burn souls in hellfire for eternity, but you are enough. Saying your name gives me comfort, and I know New York City will one day burn in nuclear fire. The fire from your heart. Because no one will understand. Because no one ever believes. We shut the door to the better part of our lives. Turned away from the most holy Trinity. Light shining like a trillion suns. January 19th, 2017. It feels like 10 years. It's been 5. Now remember when we were intimate for the very first time. We made a promise to each other never to leave each other until death. We've crossed a line. There is no middle ground. If only there were words to describe the pain. The threat of an eternity without you. The thought takes my breath away, overloads my mind. When you hold me, I know salvation is here. Though when the wounds are neck deep, they will never heal. Though there are no Catholic priests living, we exchange our vows and sign the dotted line. January 20th, 2017. At a mall in Toronto, the day after, we made it official. Our new life together. We take pictures of ourselves, and I know that smile's a lie. The words that explain why you feel so much pain are taken from me before I can let them loose. I'm never sure that life is worth living, never sure that I exist, but when you kiss me, the first fruits of recreation, the sound of kingdom come. The sigil hoping to erase what we built together, we may never find again. We look out at Lake Ontario, and from now on we'll wonder what it would be like to never have existed, never been cursed with the damnation of breathing. But Christian calms my nerves, like heroin in the veins. It is unfortunate to be born. It is even worse to die, but it is the greatest gift of all, to never exist at all, to only exist in the mind of God. If Christian never existed, he would remain a fiction in my mind, but more real than anything in the cosmos. January 21st, 2017. Sometimes I lose hope and I'm unable to speak, unable to move, except to tell you that my thoughts are incomprehensible. And I know life becomes more painful with each and every breath, and I know eternity tantalizes me. But it exists when we're alone. When our daughter is born, she will know what it means to suffer, know what it means to lose it all. And I know my words are not enough. January 22nd, 2017. No one stands in judgment. We think there's nothing wrong. We think we're doing fine. Our hearts are bleeding and slowly stopping. We walk through the streets of different cities, alone, and Canada seemed so far away, and the night was so freezing, and we sat in separate classrooms and were mocked by the ones who rejected charity, but I love you. We lost some friends, and I will never meet those people who used to be your friends. Silence can erase so much. When we have no ears to hear what defines who we are, and we don't stop, all we do is complain. And we know nothing at all about it. We pray together in our bedroom. We regret the days we spent apart. January 23rd, 2017. I used to hear so much music, but now the world has grown quiet. The decadence before the war, the pain that throbs inside me, because we will never understand how simple the solution is. March 13th, 2017. I had a flashback in my mind. We were at Spelman again, And as soon as I saw you, I sobbed, knowing what our futures would be like in the next 5 years. And I wanted to make love to you in that dark and empty classroom, but I couldn't. Too cold to take off our clothes. Too frigid to reveal your bare, stripped heart. Too silent to hear you say to me the words I never hear. Our hearts are more fragile than ever, and I think about the pain that throbs and robs us of our meaning. We are so numb, we cannot feel it. We'll never again remember the time we kissed each other and were caught by Mr. Fitz. But I must wake up someday. We were told to believe in God, that God would end the loneliness, and so I prayed each day and night, and then I met you. The only time a prayer was answered, but it was enough. Even when they told us where to be, no medication could ever heal me. Let me live without you. You told me about the visions you saw in the last 5 years, a promise of the future which may be an empty lie, the demons that will haunt our futures and make it painful to breathe. I will always be ruthless, but I love you. Love and rage are both the same. They have the same end. Both of them connect to you, find their summation in you and me. March 14, 2017. Last night your guardian angel came down from heaven and told me about people who would never exist because of the decisions humanity had made. The days that would have materialized had Adam not rejected charity, had the words of the letters I write to you reached the ears of God. And I'm stunned to hear that my words have no power to change your destiny. March 24th, 2017. You take my hand, we walk through the New York City streets, hoping they will never find us. We hate to sleep at night. We are all that is left, the only ones awake. The explosion we just heard, we'll see it on the news tomorrow. For now we walk away. Total panic, state of emergency, state of ignorance. The world is a place where wicked people thrive, where the saints are burned. It is impossible to comprehend this violence. If there is no justice, if no one will ever understand who we are, or if there is no day of judgment. March 25th, 2017. On a flight to Toronto, a nation of darkness, the fabric of my heart will not believe. We will be safe, we will be alone. I feel the overwhelming presence of childhood nightmares, all the creatures I feared worse than dying, and no one would believe me when I told them how afraid I was, and the world is against us. August 15th, 2017. All my life I've hurt you. Only lies have left my lips. Answers to questions you would have died to hear the answer to. The words that left my lips were never simple. Life would be like this. The words were never yes or no. Thought I was following destiny, but I was wrong. There will be days when you will call, but no one will answer the phone. There will be days when your lips will move, but no one will hear a sound. On that night, the words left my lips. I called out your name, but you did not hear a sound. January 15th, 2018. The world has become so small, yet so fragile, and at the same time more valuable in proportion. But this world became the victim of abortion on the part of God. We may never see this glory that was meant to exist, never recognize how beautiful we are. February 14th, 2018. Clear my mind. Your body, your testament to me, but I can no longer feel. This world not my home, not a place of celebration. They sold their souls to Lucifer, held down in isolation, overwhelming misery. I stood in the midst of the crowd, constantly wishing to leave the world behind, knowing when the bombs would fall, the day, the hour. And when I tried to warn them, I ended up in a mental hospital where we spent our better days, the only time we spent together. Freshman year at Spelman Catholic High School, how could I forget? Catastrophe, worse than the planet being hit by a comet, worse than being torn away from you. St. Valentine imbibed the rage of this world that means more than heaven, because this world descends to hell. February 15, 2018. When I give myself, though I am from another universe that this realm could never touch, never hope to grasp, conceptualize why we cannot speak. Enthralled with the sunlight, but the sunlight will soon be gone, forever never ends. And my only hope is that we will leave this universe together, and I don't want to live in this world, and I cannot sleep, constant visions I see, each day and every night. If only we could understand, you'd know it's going to be alright. A new world order, salvation without borders, overflowing mercy. The love of the Trinity never fails and never ends. August 31st, 2018. I cannot walk Toronto's streets again. Though so familiar, the blood soaking from my hands, from my feet, from my side, from my head, reminds me, liberates me, tells me I'm an alien, out of this universe, lost in a different one, that no one could ever touch, like the spirit of the wind that will lead me home again. And when the lights shut off, all I do is pray. All I do is write letters to Christian. We are dying in a false celebration. And I've been meaning to tell him, but these stains enough. I bear the wounds of God. March 3rd, 2019. I had a dream last night that you died. Surreal, hopefully not prophetic. But our thoughts have rarely been random, never been anything but detestable. And we must learn to let go of each other. Days without Christian, days without charity. March 4th, 2019. St. Vincent Frere, pray for us. Raised more than 20 people from the dead, but there will be no more miracles. I think we can do without them. We need to give ourselves away, and I stand here testifying before the judge that what I saw was real. But he will never believe me, and here I am in a mental hospital, just like you were so many years ago, where you spent your better days, your only days with me. We need to believe in miracles, we need to recall our voices, need to leave this hell. And they will never hear the truth about who God is, the truth, the world will come to an end. The life we never lived together. I reach out to the sky, begging for God to hear. They say I'm wasting my time, but I will walk on water, I will not drown. Saint Tarcisius, think of this world that we cannot even understand, when most of us are gone, when most of us are cast back in the eternal fire. March 16, 2019. Another sunset. Another step toward deeper unity. Another lost friendship, remembering the promise of what could be, but will never materialize. Through all my doubts and fears, those will remain the same. Another instant of salvation at the last possible moment. My prayer is now for victory as we take the last steps toward perfect unity. Now everything happens for a reason that was meant to be planned by God. One day we will disappear. We had every opportunity, but we're only alive for one night of our lives. I had no hope until the day I learned secrets no one had ever known, not just about a world that would one day become our own, but an end to all the rage, and an end to the deafening silence. I'm so afraid you'll never know the meaning of the light that you experienced first, that leads us far from here. All my life I screwed up my chances and coasted half asleep, because I do not believe that any of this is real, when compared to when we walk in pure sunlight, and the blades of grass will be cut against our feet, like sharpened razor blades. March 20th, 2019. We are sick, mentally dead, morally screwed beyond reason, beyond heaven or hell. I would rather die than face the end. I will never return to King Street East, where we suffered needlessly, and there will be no one to comfort us. And like you did, I comforted them. Though all they did was cry, no one cared, no one speaks for them. I held him in my arms. Medication will make the pain go away. No one is aware of the simple solution, faith, hope, charity. And he killed himself, hung himself on the ceiling beam, while no one was watching, my rosary beads in hand. There will never be anyone to hold us again. And God let me know their secrets, let me know their pain. Feeling the energy of the universe flow in and out of me. He said I'll never see my family again. I told him it wasn't true. And I saw Christian's name written on the wall. April 25th, 2019. We do not have much time, and the news does not surprise me, scare me. Mass executions in New York City streets hit so close to home, where I was born, where I was raised. They reap our damnation. They give us our well-deserved payment for what we've set our minds to, that can only end in death. We wonder why this feels slightly wrong, anything but tragic. We imbibe the lies, because we trusted the heretics in the television, because we wouldn't fall asleep, but instead listened to an intoxicating siren song, a fate worse than death, a demise worse than eternal fire. No need to wonder. April 26, 2019. I haven't heard from you, Christian, since I heard about the bombing at the Canadian Embassy in Egypt. The future comes without our permission. The new day is merciless. April 27, 2019. The sun in Portugal was what I felt before you left, and then I saw a vision, but God made me promise not to tell a soul what I saw. If I told anyone, the universe would cease to exist, but I will never tell a soul what was meant for only me, for as long as I exist. And we're all in need of recreation. We're all begging to leave this hell. But this goes on. After Jesus comes back, we will not exist anymore in the truest sense. We will be born of water and blood and not remember any ounce of pain. May 27th, 2019. In Ghana, a nation torn by war, I came to find Christian, came to find my husband. He told me not to come here, found him in the hospital, baptizing those on their deathbeds. I do not remember what he was telling me when the door opened behind me and the bullets started to fly. He forced himself in front of me like a shield, gave his life so I could live. Events play out like our dreams, and we have one chance to change our fate. 10 minutes later, we pull the sheet over his face, but I have hope that conquers death. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, I say to you, arise. No one in the West will believe what happened. May 1st, 2020. I walk through the fields and beside the lake, and I can see the days pass like seconds, and I can see the war with hell, and demons flood the world. You take my hand and the blood transfers to yours, a disease without a cure. Life in Ontario used to be so oblivious, but it became obvious that all good and sweet things have an expiration date, even the ones we cannot live without. A dragon speaks with venom, tries to pull us over the edge. We stayed up on those nights, praying the 15 decades together. A plea to return to a world we forget, cannot conceptualize. I expected you to tell me the truth about love, but no one will speak the right words again, because of the curse laid upon us. May 2nd, 2020. The sigil will never find us again, because we are too young to die like this. If they had slit our throats, heaven would have avenged our death. Would have destroyed the world for the sake of you and me. May 3rd, 2020. Nothing will ever change my mind, and I am not sure if we can continue to live our lives in a world controlled by the sigil, running and resisting. January 1st, 2021. Omens of the future. Warnings about nuclear fire. Our world will never end. The city will never burn. Do not be concerned. Blinded by pain and disharmony, I am apathetic to everything except for the light that I can see through the waters I've been plunged under. Maybe one day we'll wake up from our coma, find the place where we belong, no longer ignore rhyme and reason. January 2nd, 2021. Christian, you were right and I was wrong. Remember the day we met when we find heaven or hell or something in between, or something entirely new, something we've never dreamed of. But when you see my face there, you will never know that it's really me, maybe as good as a hallucination, projected in your mind. And when I die and I see you there, how will I know it's really you? Our lives are cut short, and those in Toronto never cared until the rain started belching from the sky. The door to the ark is closing. When it closes, nothing will exist again. We don't know what it means to breathe. And as I sleep in your arms, I know I will never feel your heart beat again. When I woke up, your heart was cold and frozen. I am alone. January 20th, 2021. I can barely stand because the tears keep me down. I cannot stand still because the songs that define us fade into separate melodies. Sing it out, the symphony you have forgotten, the words you were never bold enough to say. This is my punk rock insurgence in which I find my soul. Breathe it in, the echoes which break the silence, that have been here since our first day of life together. Listen to the melody and have faith in every word I say. Keep them in your soul and shout them at your demons that come to claim your nuclear fiber, because these words existed before the conception of the universe in the mind of God. I'll strip these words down to a sentence. When all days are gone, we will meet again, and we will still be young. January 21st, 2021. The wind. Toronto's fractured skyline, heat and cold. Busy streets we walked hand in hand. All of these are gone. The gunshots, my screams, words people told me I don't believe. I put the part of me that was willing to death long ago. A closed mind to prevent anyone from taking your heart away from mine. I will never feel it beat again. We went to bed, we never opened the door again for fear of losing a child again. But instead I lost you. Today is Judgment Day, the day we waited for. Fire and brimstone from the sky. Division 6. The sobering talk the professor gave about how we will never stop the bombs, how we all will slowly die. And don't forget when we were together. Don't forget that we will die. We are losing the magic we had before. We are falling so far behind. Not just in school, but in ways we don't understand, falling into unpayable debt. I'd rather stay home than confront this. Rather would play the Elder Scrolls games I haven't played in 5 years. Just lose myself in a world I will never touch. Sometimes I want to jump out of my skin. Like jumping out of a moving car. Like giving up on life. Like donating your organs to your dying friend while you are still alive. And it is almost like giving up on you. But I cannot simply disappear. Cannot crawl away. The way I walked away from you on the last day of high school was like crawling out of my skin. Crawling into a nightmare that we will never wake up from. But we always lie to ourselves, tell ourselves that this will end, that someone will finally open up to me and we can have deep conversations about how we understand each other so clearly, and how we are mountains of feelings and hurt that will never be understood or even looked at. I almost forgot to tell you that my soul is no longer here, that it has been ripped out of my chest. We are problems that are insignificant. We are simply Americans dying in our apathy. Never will help those across the ocean who are dying of AIDS. Never will make friends with the stranger who lives across the street. You don't understand why we need to fall in love. We are absolutely worthless if we live in isolation, or if we are not both the summation of love and the summation of what it means to die. And I still remember Tom's creative writing class, sitting there forced to listen to the students read their poetry. But I was apathetic, a storm inside of me, because we never understand the songs that I always listen to against the words you will never say. I've given up on you. And right now there are people all over the world who are simply falling in love. And right now there are politicians in power who I cannot take the microphone away from. I wish there was more time in the world, and we will wait here for the girl we love forever because she promised she would be here at this time, but she will never be here. I say your name. I love you. Lately it has been so hard for me to sit down and do anything. All I can do is run down these streets as fast as I can. We never stop. We are nothing but pieces that do not fit together. I'm saying we are celebrating the graduating from high school, but we will never leave here, as if we killed ourselves the day of graduation, and we will haunt these hallways for eternity. Some say that when you die, whatever you feel right before you take your last breath, you will feel for the rest of eternity, but what I'm really saying is that these pages are stained red with my blood, and I made a promise that we'll escape from the world, but I'm not saying that I'm not lying. I remember my time in a mental hospital, and I remember the girl who was reading people their fortunes, calling on Lucifer to bend people's will. But what I'm really saying is that this is the longest day of my life. This is the worst last trip, and people will use their words to try to convince you to join their religion. But if you have any faith, believe this, that our world was created for hell. Our lives were meant to end. Today I am young, tomorrow I will certainly die. Eternity is too long, never is not long enough. And there's no moderation, there is only heaven or hell, but none of us have a choice. In a better world we have something to cry about. I want to ask God to change what the Bible says before it was written, so that we can go to heaven and forgive each other, so that we can learn to love all over again, so that we will not be certainly doomed to eternal misery, so that we can relax for one moment of our lives and forget about what makes us lose our minds. On a flight across the country, the words stitched together prove we are wrong. So much knowledge just waiting to be forgotten. So many years go by until we will forget, and only remember being alone in my bedroom because I've excommunicated you surgically from my past memories. No one is listening. We are drowning. You were never there for me. We never tell the truth. We never know what it means not to live as a cleric promoting a false and pagan religion, so set in our ways that we'll never consider change. Watching YouTube videos about what it was like 5 years ago, and I know we are dying to understand. I feel the life being sucked out. Your love was torture. We found our liberty. We lost our salvation. And my dear, you know that when the last day of the world happens, I will not change anything I'm doing. My heart will not be moved. Believe in me. If you believe in me, we'll recognize that we can inspire every nation to stop fighting with bombs, drop radical Islam. I think the war-torn world simply needs to drop what they are doing and have a beer with me. There is no reason for violence. We need days without slavery. We need to hear our names called. Yes, that means it's time to leave. And I know I've lost you, and in the embassy office I'll forget myself. At a rock concert, I'll see you walk by. We won't be together. In the dorm room, I'll remember you. Some years ago I lost my mortal soul, and I locked you outside and never let you in again, but then regretted it for the rest of my life, because some years ago I spent all my money on what I would never need, what I would never use, and as I walked away, the music in my ears reminded me of what it was like to live forever alone, what it is like to never wake up after the most exhilarating vacation to countries across the ocean after the bombs go off, and we sit together holding each other's hands, contemplating what the world would be like if we never met each other. But it never sunk into my mind, because the music in my ears reminds me that we are always fluid, always filled with motion, and we will never stop moving because we never stop going forward, and I struggle with this, and I cannot hold myself together. And I will always say that on the night I met Rachel, she'll never talk to me afterwards, because we are dying in our false celebration, because this night is incomprehensible. And I'm telling you that this music is enough to make my soul burn in hell forever, to prove that everyone is absolutely a liar. The day we die, we might not realize that we need to connect with others, because we spend all our time on the internet trying to reach someone, but they will never pick up the phone. Because no matter how close we feel, we can never touch their souls. When we die, we will be deceived into thinking that the hallucinations we see right before we die really represent the people that we love, but we are wrong. We need saving, someone to enter in from another universe, just in time to tell us we are wrong, to tell us to stop moving. Because every ounce of pain is louder than every love song. Every day will never exist again, and the way you look at me makes me regret ever having existed. What grace it would be to have never been alive. We need to comprehend we are far worse off living in the world we envision in our dreams. The day Skyrim came out, I took alienation to the knee, took my heart and lost it. Tell me what I need to hear. I no longer have faith. Now we say goodbye, for now I'm shivering, and there's absolutely no use in describing how I feel. There's absolutely no reason not to give up. I'm giving up on you. All I do is play these Elder Scrolls games, wishing I could disappear, listening to pop songs about when we had a good time, and the bombs go off in Syria, where war will never end. But I cannot see the difference between where we are now and where we were last year, because nothing will ever bring back Tom Dustahas, or any of the people I used to know. Nothing will change our minds and make us stop being sectarian, following false religions, or taking extreme sides, because we don't know what moderation means and we don't know how to say no. At the end of the party, I saw Allie, and I asked her if she wanted to slow down for a moment, and maybe go out to dinner. But I don't remember what she said, because in my dream, I went home and took so much of my own medication that I ended up in the hospital for 3 weeks. And during those 3 weeks, I realized that I missed Molly so much that I will spend my life not realizing, not succumbing to the meaning or purpose that we exist for in the first place, because I'm starting to believe that without the divine faith, we are without direction and chase after the wind. Because nothing will ever convince me that I am wrong, but the feeling you get when you are dumbed down because of pills, when you are dying in your false celebration because on a wedding day, we thought we all were happy, but then we realized that we will never share in the same joy because the demons haunt my footsteps, fill my dreams. To wake up, see the world in different colors, and witness the gifts that come in the seasons, all of them passing, is the source of peace, a miracle. Division 7. I thought I had you figured out, but I never understand. You fade from me. There is no connection. Don't kiss her, don't touch her, in fact, don't even look at her. Torture, we fall in love with the words we hear in the television, enthralled with the lies. Can't get her out of my mind. I never believed in salvation because that is when we are hand in hand. What does it mean to be alone? Demons that flood the world, control us, deceive us, orchestrate every event, tell Donald Trump what to say. Way too late, cannot reach you or touch your soul, breaks my heart. March 23rd, 2016. ISIS affiliate website claimed responsibility for the bombing in Brussels. There will be no place to go when the world goes to war. But here we are just wasting time in the world, while everyone else seems so sure about themselves. Thank God the third bomb did not explode, found in his suitcase. I miss you, I love you. They shut the door in my face. My soul's dying, my heart is already cold. The nation's in flames. We've grown up without a family, and we will never want one. And we need a reason to forgive. Like pornography, a poison, skull and bones dead in the grave. I believe in charity, please believe in me. The anti-pope and his cohorts opening the gates to hell. If you can't see that they're not Catholic, then you at this point are in total darkness. And not just you, but anyone who agrees. Words will never be enough. If only we will slow down to listen. But since you hung up on me, I don't remember why. If there are words to express, it would make no difference, disembodied from language. We never see the world behind your eyes, just sweeping generalizations. We fall into a pit, following after the blind, and I will never be okay. I've forgotten what you look like, forgotten how to sleep at night, also forgot why. You never asked me if I'm okay. I need to know how you're responding to my words, falling behind an empty bed after the last night on earth. Sentiments I would never believe. We walk through Burke Park. We simply forget. No reason for words. Religions are old and new. We need to leave forever. We want to change. We never lift our hands. Does anyone know how much we suffer? Life in a favela. Drugs we can't stop taking. Dying in our sleep. Holy Mother of God, pray for us sinners now at this hour of our death. Amen. Canada is so far away, a nation in a fog. A nation waiting to slide into the ocean. Corporations controlling how we think. I've lost my mind. I've grown so familiar with despair. Because no one has the Christian faith. Can you feel me? When you dream at night, because I'm buried in your nightmare. We never stop. I live underneath the bridge. I can't bring myself to speak. I've lost the words I need, or the words have lost their meaning. We don't sustain ourselves. We take and never give. Fuck. Can you even hear me? Wait, I think I figured out why we need to leave forever. We are dying in this false celebration. I was primarily a happy person before 2011. The waves of the oceans will cover me. The bus ride across Ontario. The trip to Brazil we'll never return from. Selling books to anyone willing to listen. Shut your eyes and fall fast asleep. Head in the Brazilian sand. Life and hell, heaven still far away. Natalie, life, death, or simply all the things I feared worse than dying. We are losing ourselves in the Atlantic. Forgot how to tell Atlantic time. Forgot we're in different time zones. Thought you were next to me. I forgot how your hand feels, Natalie. Yes, I'll jump from the highest cliff until we find what charity means. We're getting out of this together. We together in active rage, encapsulated in this moment, filling up every blank page, and erasing the ones we never cared about, filling them with our own words. They never see our lives. They are outside the church. We don't have much time to live. Are you sure? Is this tragic? It's anything but acceptable. Sicut dudum. Like I did long ago, I fight the depression, fall into the fathomless stirring ocean. I see the apartment buildings from the balcony. What if I was one of the people who live there? But no, I will never escape my skin. I am a hungry poet. I am dying in my isolation. I want to cast a spell on Daniela, make her care that I don't care, that every breath we take will never exist again. Good morning, dear. The world was young for us, full of hope. The hope you gave me through your songs made me feel like I was still alive. Good night, my love. We all depart into the same night and into the everlasting fire. And I know life is dangerous, which makes every emotion I have for you more than just a crush tonight. We used to talk on the phone all night, and I have the same dream every night. I look for Christina but can't find her. Because I know that no one will read this poem. No one will fucking care. No one will breathe, slow down, and realize how much we cut each other without even knowing. At the end of the world, there'll be earthquakes in various places, and you will break my heart, because every song I heard from you was a love song. A day inside with the blinds closed. Another moment away from you. We become unreachable. A day without sunlight. Sophomore year at Bishop O'Connell. Another year will pass. Eventually we all forget. Don't forget that we were together. And don't forget when we will die. We're all a little desperate. At times like this I realize that this pain threatens to encapsulate me. And I walked away. Looking through old Instagram photos. And remembering when we went out drinking. If I could encapsulate the moment when we were together laughing, we wouldn't need to leave the world. But the darkness falls upon us. The days are monotonous and are getting painfully long. Another day in my dead-end job, and I cannot concentrate, will never again move on. She said, Joey, I know that desperation is one of the worst feelings, like being taken away from sunlight, being taken away from you. And until the world falls apart, I will simply watch the clouds move, watch you in my dreams, watch a war in a nation far away, watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The world is bored to death as the vampires plot in darkness to suck our blood. Division 8. All of these words are from Clay, a schizophrenia patient. Today I learned that even though she calls on Lucifer, vampires to suck our blood, I still can't keep my head on earth, never sober. You will take away everything. We forget how to be peaceful. We could do without religion. In fact, it makes us feel so peaceful believing there is no God. Fuck, I can't move without thinking of you. Every time I try, I feel prodded, stabbed with an iron spike. I want to run away. I hope you read my words. I wish we knew each other. I've only seen you in my head and maybe in my dreams too. Or at least that's what I've been told. Sitting on the psych ward bed, King Street East. If you see me as less human because of the pain I feel, I don't believe you'll ever understand suffering. I met a girl, she came in screaming, complaining that her family raped her. Sometimes we can never forgive. Heaven is burning like hell, or at least it doesn't matter. I will never see it anyway. I want to fly, or at least drive away, leave Toronto, but when the days aren't going by in the most painful way. This hospital is a prison. I'm keeping track of time. I've been silent so far about what causes me pain. The world outside looks dry, even in the pouring rain. I've been afraid to write. I've been afraid to cry. The doctors tell me that you don't exist, but I know that they are wrong. I love you more than words can say. Today I decided to stay up writing all night poems about despair. What are the words people used to say, but I never heard them preaching a false and different religion. As if we change religions like our moods. Schizophrenia is real, pain is unbearable. An ocean view I saw in my mind, a woman standing there alone, my hands shaking uncontrollably. This is what I wrote on the walls today. I am a ghost, I fade away with the breeze. When I tried to kill myself, it didn't work. You're what's keeping me alive, and I know you'll be thankful that I'm still alive. My head is not getting any clearer, falling into pure ecstasy each and every day. You'd be so happy to see me here, Mr. Hanover, poetry professor. You taught me well. You're the reason I write these words. I never want to be without hope again. The world might be twisted, but I don't want to take it out on anyone. We're the wrong planet in the wrong century. I bet it's cold tonight. I'm crying out for help, begging to be found. No images I see will take this pain away from me. I don't want to wake up, starting to like it here, though they say I will never be better. I don't believe in love except when I say I love you. A world without you is unthinkable. The world I can't escape from, they say it's in my mind. Circles over and over again. I don't know when this will end, but if we could leave here, or if the pain would stop for one day, if nights were enjoyable again, how quickly we descend to hell. If I could calm down, but I am a little too optimistic, a little too incoherent, losing my soul. Dear God, please give me the magic words I need that will convince you to take me away from here. Sinking deep into my bed, wishing I could pick one thought out of the many, willing to do anything to have you hold me in your arms, hatred inside me. No improvement. I look out at the world around me, wondering if the days will ever be bright again. I don't know what went wrong. Without you, life doesn't seem sweet. Like the time in second grade when life began to change, but I feel so much energy, forcing me to leave. Sometimes I never can finish my thoughts, never can express them. I feel empty, dying, evaporating, mesmerized. Please understand I'm just like you. We aren't that different. Please don't pretend there's something that keeps us apart forever. If life were different, we would be friends. We would no longer be alone or walking our separate ways. I want to change my name and leave Canada forever. Everyone will pretend to be kind. I'm strong enough to make it through the storm. We will never find what we are looking for. We are totally blind. Please forgive me. I was never there for you. I want to meet her someday, but she will never recognize me. I don't know what she looks like, but life isn't worth living without her. My mind is in a fog, and not one person will ever help me. The same questions every day. Are you having suicidal thoughts? Too late to do anything. Sorry I hurt you so much. Life should be boring because every day is exactly the same. I stood up for myself against the ones who spit in my face. Maybe I'm destined to always be alone in the psych ward bed. I want to leave, escape my skin, want to find myself again in a different universe. Maybe our other souls will find that place. We will be together and not remember any of this. Sometimes I find it hard to forgive, but I do it anyway. I find it hard to die, but I will do it anyway. 5 days from now and I'll leave the psych ward. The days are getting colder. 5 days since I've left King Street East. So I can stare at the walls again and find no meaning to life. In my apartment, talking to people on the phone I haven't seen in 10 years. I guess it doesn't matter because the world is growing darker by itself. We used to laugh together, but now we only cry alone. Self-induced amnesia. Symptoms always come back. Take those pills hoping to disappear. If I could lose myself for one day, as long as you kiss me, I'll be happy. Perfect misery, self-depreciated. Words have become meaningless. After blasting poetry, your faces look cold. I don't feel the life that should come from them. The meaning of life, but they won't come close. I will never slow down. 10 years from now seems so long, but what is time without cycles? What is life without you? An empty system like a machine sucked of all its life. Walking through the city, I realize that one day I will say goodbye. I wish I could help you. Wish I could touch your soul. At a concert and time will go by. Maybe music gives us meaning, helps us to let go. I travel across the country reading poetry. I sleep on the concrete floor. I met a girl and we loved each other all the time. They told me she did not exist. They were dead wrong. We walked through the city and I bought her flowers, looked her in the eyes. This moment will never exist again. I want this to never end. Even though I will never be perfect, the world is dark without you. We come closer to the end of existence every single day. And that concludes the second edition of Baptism of Apathy.